Welcome, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party, home of the $400 per month giveaway to U.S. adults coming up in 2017. If you write my name in the upcoming election, I will work toward a plan to get every U.S. adult citizen $400 a month. Anybody who qualifies simply by applying. If you have any serious criminal offenses, you'll still qualify as long as they're not capital offenses. You will also qualify if you are a person who's homeless, who doesn't have a mailbox. We're going to make special considerations and get people who are homeless mailboxes, so everybody can get $400 a month. We're also planning on building a flotilla of solutions for people who are homeless, because $400 a month won't get you much. You could maybe live in a tent and cover your food budget, because I've talked to a lot of people tonight. They're saying, in the pre-show, they said that people can barely survive on $400 a month for food now, with the cost of food being so high. I went shopping today and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Everywhere I turned, everything's $5 to $9. Now, we have a situation in the news. The news story is promoting the idea that 36 people are dead, 147 injured in a terror attack at the Istanbul airport. This just came in, breaking news. We're still vetting this to try to find out if there's any photos. We just reviewed a few photos from the actual event, and we weren't able to find any actual pictures of blood. So that's a kind of a bad sign, considering how many false flag events the government's perpetrated on the American people and around the world. You've got to wonder. We have pretty solid evidence the Paris attack was fake. We got pretty solid evidence that the Brussels attack was fake. We're beginning to wonder, are they just pushing for international gun control? And if this is the case, is this an agenda? And the truth may come out later. The truth about the elitists wanting depopulation. We'll be talking about that later tonight. There's some people out there that are not happy right now. There's some tough times. A lot of people are barely able to make it on their minimum payments schedule. A lot of people living on the dole can barely survive in this tough economy. Erdogan apologizes to Putin over the death of a Russian pilot, calls Russia a friend and a strategic partner. Wow. Erdogan has been a pivotal character in world politics because Turkey has become this two-faced nation where they're kissing Putin's ass now after being used by the global elitists to trigger a Russian conflict. So apparently he realized the fault in his ways and he's trying to make amends with Putin. Look at this.
President's apology for the death of a Russian pilot whose jet was down over Syria in November last year. And that's according to the Russian president's spokesperson. He also added that Erdogan expressed his desire to improve relations between the two countries. The Russian jet was down by Turkish air forces while maneuvering near the Turkish-Syrian border. And here's more.
Erdogan. So we're going to call him Erdogan? Okay. I was mispronouncing his name, Erdogan. Erdogan. Okay. This one's real? Okay, no, I believe you. I'm just going to kind of be cautiously optimistic that it's not as bad as I think. So far, there's been a lot of people upset on many different levels about false flaggery, and our government's not even doing a damn thing to stop that. Okay. Wow. A live stream on YouTube is asking, is it real or a false flag? Well, that's what we're doing right now. Are we on YouTube yet? Yes, we are. We'll get a link to our chat room over on YouTube in just a second. I don't know. At this point, we don't have any clarification on the degree to which this false flaggery is being perpetrated, whether it's an international attempt or a local attempt. I wish I could get to the bottom of it, but what we do know factually is that our government has very little evidence of anything actually happening in almost every case. I don't know if we can mute or purge anybody right now because there is no 820 in the room. You may have gotten the number wrong, but he doesn't seem to exist. Upon review and scrutiny of chat records, there is no person. Oh, guest 2820. Oh, okay. Okay, guest 2820, you have been muted. And if you continue using the N-word in our show, you will definitely have some problems. So kind of tone down your rhetoric. But I understand you're angry at the Muslims. I get that. Good evening. Catching the false flag on Turkey like Orlando? I'm beginning to think it is. We saw no blood in any of the photographs. Well, I don't have to go to LiveLink. I've got photos of dead bodies right in front of me. It's just pulling them up is the problem. Want to know what the stock market did today? Dow Jones average. Let's take a look at that. Being at such a pivotal, skittish market we have right now. We have a live leak of the video of Turkish incident. Okay. Climbs from the Brexit bottom. The Dow Jones bounce gains 270 today. We saw the profit taking going on. Again, a big drop in the stock market. It's usually followed by a few increases the next couple of weeks. It's a pattern that's been going on for a decade. Yeah, well, we are still looking at the feed of information. And at this point, I'm still a little bit unsure as to how accurate it is. It looks genuine. They shot one of them and they ignited their vests. See chunks flying. Okay. You chunks of people in the video. Okay, well, then this could be very real. I mean, you understand, if they're willing to kill 2,239 people in Mecca in 2015, there's an incident of a stampede in Mecca in 2015. You could look it up. That was real, but there wasn't any blood in those events either. Game over, you're out of here. Bye. Yo, Dave, what's your knowledge on the illegal invasion of Cyprus in 1974 by Turkey using weapons and aircraft supplied by the Americans, the weapons embargoes that had no effect? Yeah, I'm fully aware of that. Our country's been working tangentially through Turkey for gaining a leverage against Russia. So now when Erdogan goes ahead and promotes his relationship with Putin, and Putin actually announced that Erdogan apologized, then we have a serious situation where everything we do is just completely reversed, and Erdogan is now an ally of Russia. He's probably turning to NATO and playing soft politics with NATO. And this is going to be the problem. We can't find any reliable parties to deal with in that region. Israel has proven to be deceptive. Iran has proven to be deceptive. Israel will not even admit that they have nuclear weapons. Here's a YouTube video about the Mecca stampede that I was referring to. This is in Hajj, near Mecca. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see if there's real footage of the bodies here. I mean, I hate to be so morbid in talking about real footage of bodies. But
more than 700 dead and over 850 injured is the sickening death toll following a stampede near Mecca during the Hajj religious festival. Pilgrims were on their way to the stoning of the devil ritual at the Pillars of Jamarat when two large groups met at a crossroads in the tented town in Mina Valley. The Hajj is the world's largest annual gathering of people, and there have been regular accidents in Mecca despite the Saudi authorities spending billions to improve infrastructure. I express my condolences to me, to you, and to all pilgrims for the stampede that happened today in Mina. I also express my condolences to the relatives of the victims. We ask the concerned authorities to investigate into the causes of the dramatic incident and come out with the results of the investigations as soon as possible.
We never did get the results from their investigation, and I'm of the belief that there's something to this story that doesn't quite make sense. But yeah, there's lots of deaths around the world, real deaths, not dummies, real people, real deaths. So don't get the impression I'm trying to devalue human life by talking about false flags. But I have a different number, and I'm trying to corroborate this. We just heard about 700 or 800 deaths, and look at this wiki that I have here. It says here, on September 24th, 2015, a crowd collapse caused the deaths of at least 2,236. I was off by 3. Pilgrims who were suffocated or crushed during the annual pilgrimage. That's completely opposite to the number that we just got, 800. So here's a record which is substantial, showing 2,236. So is it 800 or is it 2,236? What's the truth? You see what I'm saying? Well, real deaths in countries like this are quite common. So yes, this Istanbul event could very well have led to real deaths, but the numbers may be altered. We can't really validate the numbers. But yeah, these things happen a lot around the world, and it's a real problem because there are elements of terrorists out there. Whether they're funded by Western nations or not is debatable. But the fact that they are terrorists is a solid fact, and we have to deal with that. Whether they're funded by other sources or even funded from within the ranks of our own government, we don't know. But this is posing a problem for a lot of people around the world. They want to put a stop to this. Well, we're not going to put a stop to this. Terrorism has been going on for thousands of years. It's been going on under the aegis of war. Oftentimes people being taken away from their property and pushed out of their land. The truth is, a lot of these events are triggered by bankers who believe that if we could empty America's jails and prisons of pot smokers, there'd be plenty of room to start jailing real criminals like bankers and politicians. Exactly. That'd be great. If we didn't have these bankers trying to control and dictate wars, we probably wouldn't have war. It's that simple. But let's get down to the real source, titrate the source of real aggression. And when we look at the real problems around the world, we see that most of it depends on scarcity. I think you're confused. These false flags are most likely being perpetrated to push for international fear of terror or gun control. And when a hoax goes on, it didn't really happen at all. There wasn't an FBI debriefing session with 27 officers like there was in Orlando a week ago, or a week more. All of these false flags seem to be perpetrated by corrupt government officials and corrupt cops. There's a lot of corrupt cops. The blue curtain hides the corruption. Even Internal Affairs doesn't do a good enough job probing the real corruption in our local law enforcement around the nation. At this point, the moon landing probably didn't happen. Yeah, we haven't been back in over 47 years. NASA claimed they lost all of the footage of the moon landing. And look at your case. Bob's in a nightmare case. Let me share with you what has happened to Bob. Bob 2012 was in the room, guys. It turns out he was talking on the CB radio and he encountered some extremely crazed individual, turns out to be a sheriff in his area. That's right. And they had an argument on the radio and the sheriff threatened him. And he thought nothing of it. So he got off the line. Apparently they triangulated his CB radio signal and swooped down and arrested Bob, claiming that he was the one threatening the sheriff. Now, Bob spent 3 months in jail in Florida before he could even get out. He finally got out after 3 months with a boot on with one of those bracelets, ankle bracelets, keeping him at his house. Seriously. And he's in 1 month, 2 months in his house, he's been able to launch a lawsuit against that sheriff, which is going to be in court 2 days from now. They GPS tracked you? Wow. So what's going on is sheriffs are misusing their power. Bob is having to face them in court now, suing, and he's got a really good attorney in Florida who's fairly famous, who's going to be fighting for his rights and suing that sheriff for $1 million. How long do you broadcast for? Well, since this is your first time visiting, we broadcast till 9:30 Pacific time, so 12:30 Eastern Atlantic time. And then we continue broadcasting videos all the way to 1 in the morning to 2 in the morning, depending on the audience. We gauge how long we stay now. And we are able to play videos and chat with you guys on politics all the way into the evening. So if you want to talk politics and chat with people, this is a good hangout. Bookmark it. And we are available always at americasthirdparty.com to talk about issues. Every day is a nightly show. We've been doing this for 7 years, and without fail, with very few breaks. I even took a vacation, did shows from McDonald's and Wi-Fi hotspots 5 years ago. But we haven't been able to break from this because this pressing need for a political movement has been behind our push for broadcast regularity. Cool, you come here all the time. Show is smooth, we have a good server. Yeah, we pay a little extra for bandwidth. We have a cable modem. But none of this was possible until 2008 when we got our cable modem. We were on dial-up up until that time. And for 7 or 8 years now, we've been on cable modems that have progressively gotten better. We started with only 1 megabyte upload speeds. I think we have up to 4 megabyte upload speeds now. But if we parse this beyond 3 different multicasts, it does lower the quality. So I'm focusing on, we were kind of screwed because we haven't had fiber optic to our house at all. And we've been waiting for fiber optic. You're waiting for fiber optic. We're all waiting for fiber optic. Cable is pretty good, I must admit, but it's not as good as fiber optic. I'll need a bigger professional studio soon. I won't need to be here soon. Yeah, I'll probably be contacted and swept out of here into a major television studio, no doubt, with a full editing team and top quality producers. But it's unfortunate because at this point, I'd prefer to just stay here. I would much rather not be super famous. But I've had to fight just to get heard. Nobody in the mainstream media will even talk about these issues that we bring up. I don't want to sell out, and I will not sell out. But no one in the mainstream media will talk about these issues we talk about on our nightly basis, like 9/11 being an inside job, chemtrails flying in our skies. No other politician wants to touch these issues. So it's highly unlikely they're going to have to, reach out to me and talk to me because I'm not going to filter what I'm saying. People want authentic, real, honest discussions about the problems facing the country right now. But I don't really want to be famous. I just want to be heard. But in the process, I will be famous. Because no man can be suppressed in such a way that I've been suppressed for 7 years, censored, and not be heard. So I'm already at a point where I've got enough karma going my way to actually break through the mainstream media in a big way. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about it, because it's on your mind. You can't talk about these things. Bill O'Reilly won't talk about 9/11 being an inside job. He just won't. Yeah, we do cover crop circles. They are indicative of very advanced technologies that can hover over the skies and deliver what appears to be some sort of an ion exchange where you can deplete the roots of any kind of nutrition and force a plant to drop. It's got to be some sort of a magnetic or ionic activity that changes the chemistry of these plants. But crop circles are definitely things we talk about. I mean, I'm not going to ignore the possibility that aliens could exist, but I tend to believe that aliens don't exist, that these crop circles were created by advanced machinery, no different than a 3D printer, but it flies. And I believe there's two sets of tracks of development going on in our world. One track is what we see in our stores at Walmart, and the other track is what we don't see, what is probably high-tech equipment which beyond our wildest dreams could be implemented. I believe that the elitists have had access to information and knowledge that would blow your mind, and it wouldn't surprise me that they were the ones that promoted this idea of aliens, the elitists. So instead of talking about the issues facing the country, they would rather you talk about aliens. I know Hillary wants to talk about how she's going to be a full disclosure person. I will fully disclose aliens if I indeed see and touch them. But I'm not going to buy a story like this and say, oh yes, I saw an alien. That could easily have been artistically generated. It may not be an actual photograph, but it was allegedly from 1957 and was released in 2011 by the Russian government. But this is as close to an alien as we've ever really gotten. It looks legitimate. So yeah, there could be an alien agenda by our government who has technologies that are way beyond your wildest imaginations. Let me show you one in particular. And this is true. The government's been working on this TR-3B for some time at Area 51, and they're not ready to talk about it. Occasionally you hear about it, and there's no spray on hair. This is my hair, man. Occasionally you hear about this TR-3B Astra, but here's a rare photograph series from around the world of what appears to be a flying saucer created by humans. So you may not believe this exists, but it's called the TR-3B Astra, and it is a high-tech new stealth weapon being developed by our military. It's a floating vectored wedge that can levitate and work in a way that no other craft has. It has video cloaking capabilities. So if they can do this, humankind can do this. What makes you think they can't make crop circles? I used to believe that crop circles were the telltale sign of aliens at one time. It's like a flying arrow, yeah. So some of the most developed new technologies being pushed in our government's secret labs at Area 51, Area 52 are actually, they could be drones, yeah. But I understand these things can carry up to 200 men, paratroopers. They can stealthily drop into a location or do secret bombing raids without being seen. You ate some lettuce from your garden? Great. You're saving big bucks, man. Organic lettuce is not cheap nowadays. You're making okra on the stove? Nice. Are you frying it? Are you blackening that okra? I voted to release everything. I've actually said full disclosure is part of my goal. Cornmeal, yes, nice. Full disclosure is something I support. Stephen Greer of the SETI project has a 6-inch alien that he thinks is indicative of this fossilized alien is indicative of life outside of our planet. And he believes that this object is, in fact, an alien fossil. I cannot corroborate that at all. It looks like some guy who really likes to do microscopic sculpting with DNA material. Greer seems real. Yeah, I like him. But do you believe this is an actual alien fossil? Because this person thinks that the humanoids are very similar, and considering they both came from the same area, leads me to believe that Dr. Greer's story is, it goes on to tell you. Let's visit the page. Is Stephen Greer a hoaxer? Because he lost his two best friends to cancer. Robert Ripley knew what Stephen Greer's serious alien was in the 1930s. You've heard of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Well, Robert Ripley was aware of the alien being back in the 1930s. Let's take a look at Ripley's Believe It or Not. Whoa, there he is, Ripley. Check that out. Pick up and flip through Ripley's search for the shrunken heads and other curiosities. You'll find the image above of Ripley's holding a familiar humanoid. According to his notes, the oddity turned out to be a person who was chosen for a full body reduction rather than just a shrinking of the head. Whoa. So this could, in many ways, eliminate the possibility that this is a fake exactly. This could be very much a fake object. Yeah. Ripley saw a shrunken body that was made in a jar. Yeah. So there you go. Real or Ripley's Believe It or Not, the incredible shrinking person. Missed it by that much. 99? Get me my shoe phone. Dude, that's not Beavis. No, Beavis is... yeah. YouTube called Dr. Stephen Greer the enigma of crop circles, 60 minutes. Okay. Well, you know, I'm of the belief that P.T. Barnum may be right. I mean, the alien existence has always kind of troubled me because there's over 5.4 billion people with cell phone cameras now in the world. Yet not one person has a credible picture of an alien. And you ask people who believe in aliens, they say, oh, well, these aliens are really, really clever. They hide. Like, when you look at them, they, like, disappear, dude. Go ahead and get yourself a cookie and some coffee and hang out and dip. Do some dipping with Dave. Take a piece of the cookie and put it between your cheek and gum and... yeah. Kind of let that melt in your mouth. Oh, by the way, she is awesome. By the way, I would recommend you rinse after every meal. Dentists are starting to realize that food is very acidic. And good clean water is alkaline. Has a 7 alkaline level, whereas food has a 5.4 acidity level. So you might want to rinse after each meal. The better the food is, the tastier it is, the more it damages your teeth. And you know how expensive teeth are. I don't think there is any news about Richard Simmons. So far, we've seen the National Enquirer article, and it's diverted our attention. And I really don't want to spend my night talking about transgenderism. You know, when we're every night it's like, oh no, we got to talk about transgenderism again. That's all people want to talk about because they're being brainwashed to talk about transgenderism. Acid damages your microbiome. Thanks, Marla. Yeah, so you guys, I'm telling you, I'm saving you big bucks on dental care. Rinse, for real, after every bite. Well, don't rinse between bites. Eat your meal and then rinse after your dinner. Me no can't log in for a long, long time. Guest 462 has had a real problem. This is a constant problem in our show, folks. We are looking at censorship on this network, and this person says, me no can't log in for a long, long time. Okay, me love you long time. Not. So that is an interesting little debunking episode we just took on the Stephen Greer picture of the alien. That was pretty interesting. And the possibility that alien spacecraft could very well be high-tech equipment being studied at Area 51. But then along comes Phil Schneider, a man who claimed his father worked in the jet NASA space industry. His father helped to build underground areas near Area 51 in Dulce, New Mexico. And Phil Schneider dedicated his life to talking about this stuff, and he freaked a lot of people out. Do you think Phil was a COINTELPRO guy, like a fake guy? Even his death is very mysterious. But Phil Schneider, let me give you a sample of what he talked about.
Now, all this alien thing is fine, except for one thing. The alien takeover is a serious threat. Kept totally out of the public view, off the surface, I'm sure the underground bases, without question, are being used as a place to house alien takeover. Alien takeover means the implementation of a one-world government. Direct opposite of constitutional law. Direct opposite of freedom of choice, freedom of religion, other freedom.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, but I tend to believe that Phil Schneider was being used, or maybe inadvertently being used, to cover up the real reality that seems to be mixed with all these discussions of reptilians and aliens. And that is that we are being sprayed like insects by chemtrails. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So it's very possible that this inundation of chemical sprays that is being put in our skies had to have some sort of a... I don't have a criminal record. No, I don't. Do not.
David could talk about that, 549.
I'd like to talk about the possibility that John Ash was killed by the Clintons because he knew too much. John Ash, the UN official, ex-UN official, recently died. They called it a heart attack, but he really had a crushed larynx from weightlifting, and while he was weightlifting, somebody dropped the weight on his neck, and he died.
Oh, like he was supposed to be spotted?
Yep. So somebody spotted him and said, "Hey, man, I'll help you out here." And then whoever that was, we'll never know. But John Ash, the former UN official, is dead, and many people are believing that his death may very well be related to the Clintons. They were doing a detailed investigation into Hillary fundraising opportunities, and John Ash was at the center of it because he was working with people from Arkansas. And many people believe that his death in June, recently, just a few days ago, in an accident, they're calling it an accident, but the fact that they even call it a heart attack is weird. Why would they call it a heart attack when he crushed his larynx and died with his barbell over his neck? Okay, you go rinse right now. He just had a cookie. I'm telling everybody to rinse, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, there's the Clinton death count. A lot of weird things going on. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you the show over to Sarah. Let me stop the chemtrails for just a bit. Chemtrails in the sky, exchanging chemicals in your lungs. La 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 la. Yeah, we're all breathing this crap. That's what really disturbs me.
Some say John Ash was going to testify against Hillary Clinton a few days later. According to Snopes, that they said that he wasn't going to have a trial.
He wasn't going to have a trial, but he was opening up stories about him and this other investor who had absconded money, and it would have led to the Hillary case eventually.
Hello, Ronnie. Did you hear me say it? Hi.
Hi, Ronnie. All right. Hillary is capable of doing anything. I'm concerned that she's going to try to control every aspect of our nation, try to get to the control mechanism of the government's top position, and then ultimately do the worst thing, which is to chip us all and vaccinate us all against our will. Many people believe that that could very well be the problem. All right.
Oh.
She got bribes, that's right.
Might be a possibility.
This is a good possibility. Hillary and Bill were working with Chinese billionaires when they sold our nation down the river to China. The trade deal of giving China First Nation trading status came from Bill Clinton. And all of it kind of points back to the Lincoln bedroom and how Bill used his power and influence to give an Asian investor free room in the Lincoln bedroom as part of his payback. No, Connie was just angry at me during that time, and she retracted that statement. I have a video of proof of her retracting it. She was just angry at her brother. That's why she said it. Well, many people believe this is all staged news, and I don't necessarily believe Istanbul happened, but right now there's a lot of stories right now that Istanbul is another case of major terrorist attack. An explosion in Istanbul has brought the news to say that 36 people died and 147 injured in suspected ISIS attack at Istanbul. But again, We looked at all the photographs that we so far have seen, and not one of them had any blood in it, which is a telltale sign of some sort of fakery. And people with sheets on top of them don't have any blood on them. Yes, we are. We used to do a Cooking Up Politics episode, but Thursday is our cooking show at 5 o'clock. If you want to talk politics and cook, we'll do it.
Yes, on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
I just want everyone to know that I don't think all events are false flags. I really do believe there are real terrorists out there. That's right. Enya Lapsang was the guy John Ash was going to link to Hillary, and that was coming up in court. So Snopes is wrong on that. John Ash would have been able to tell some very serious things about the Clinton administration. He was on the inside of that. Yeah, and people are still wondering about JFK's death. Yep. We'll never really find out the truth unless, of course, somebody reveals it. Somebody on their deathbed has already done that. People have said that they knew about a conspiracy other than Lee Harvey Oswald to kill our former great president, John F. Kennedy. I don't trust Snopes either. Okay, we got Conspiracy Monday, Tuesday, Truth Tuesday. We got Truth Tuesday. Here we go. Truth Tuesday. I think this is a good one. Truth. We just need a little background for the show. Okay, we're offering a pretty good deal for people who are U.S. citizens. $400 free per month is our offer to the American people if you get me elected and promote me and write my name in. If I win, I can get people this kind of money as a regular income. Not losing viewers at all. In fact, the viewers are being held out of this chat room. One guy had forever to get in with a VIP capacity thing going on. We've been censored on this chat room. And there's pretty good evidence that the NSA has contacted the Vaughn Network and are trying to suppress what we're doing here, because what we're doing here is huge. It's growing worldwide.
So David did not have an official co-host that had issues, but there was someone who had disabilities, mental disabilities, and who used to call into our show for a while. And Dave was like, I don't think that you really seem like you're disabled in a way or have mental issues, and he ended up becoming a CNA, certified nursing assistant. So he went back to college or went back to school and became a CNA, that individual, and so that's
he's a good guy. Yeah,
keeping him very busy.
Yeah, that's awesome, Carl. He became a certified nursing assistant. And he's building a life with he and his wife, Molly, and they're doing great. We've been trolled by people, too, who lie to us, and we don't like that. We really don't. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to step out. I'll be back shortly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so if that's who you're referring to, that's what happened to that individual. He became a certified nursing assistant. Oh, all right. Yeah, David's going to take a little break, and so now I will take over the show a little bit. So, some say at least 36 dead, 147 injured in suspected ISIS attack at Istanbul airport. Yeah. You're welcome, 142. Yeah, I knew I had to step in there and talk and say something, otherwise, yeah, maybe we wouldn't have a break or something. Oh, some people say that, I guess. I don't know. I'm not there on the scenes. So I guess we could do what some people said. We could go to liveleak.org, because everybody trusts that, right? Or liveleak.com. All right. Must see in the news. How about that? U.S. Cuba recent items. Oh. All right. Graphic video. Supposedly, let me just begin this segment with the statement that this video could contain graphic information. If you're sensitive to that kind of thing, you may want to step out of the room for a few minutes, or at least avert your eyes. I'm not sure what this video totally contains because I haven't previewed it, so we'll see what's in here. Saying something. They said this is the moment he was shot and then explodes himself. You're saying that's the graphic video? So shall I analyze that video, as a lot of YouTubers tend to do, and say, is this really real or is this not? That's the question is. Well, anyway. That video was from liveleak.com, supposedly of the moment the Turkey suicide bomber got shot and then exploded himself. You can't necessarily see in that video whether or not it was from someone who had that's supposedly the Turkey suicide bomber. If I think that's graphic, you haven't seen the New York City website. So wait. Link me New York PD, NYPD. If someone wants me to show another graphic video. No. Fake video confirmed. I think that video that I just saw wasn't as graphic as I expected. Let's just say that. Oh, don't show it. I'll get banned. Okay. Well, can you link me so I can see it later? Well, I can't. I have to bookmark it for later. If it's not graphic, it's not real. Well, sometimes if it is graphic, it's not real. There's a graphic, computer graphic things created. Alright, well wait, let me open up my IMs because my IMs aren't actually opened yet. It's just the way it happens. So lovely. I know, that's what David always says. David believes if it doesn't have blood, then if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. I don't know. Or if it's not, basically he's skeptical of anything that isn't graphic. I guess ever since they showed Saddam Hussein's beheading online, and people had access to that, everything else David would say that things might not be real. I know, that's true, but do we show video of is there video of hundreds of people being removed from that? 916, I can't see your link because you have to actually sign in to create an account in order for your links to be all your links. You're being censored. I'm so sorry. You just have to create an account and then you won't be censored anymore. Sorry. Alright, one moment. I've got to log in too. That video that I played earlier was on liveleak.com. Well, I'm glad I can make you laugh, Bob. All right. Now. Well, I'm glad I can make you laugh, Bob. All right. There we go. Now that I muted myself. Control minus. I just want to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, yes, this is live 785. And now I can read IMs if you want to send me one. Yes, it's very easy to make an account. All you need is an email address. Oh, is that it? Thanks, Samantha. 2K. Let me make sure it doesn't take over my audio. All right, thanks, Samantha. Just waiting for it to load. All right. Right on. Right on. Right. Thank you. Correct. Sorry, I didn't mean. I did say.
And the third biggest in Europe.
Earlier.
Turkey's been hit by a number of terror attacks.
So I meant to say Saddam Hussein when he was hung. Correct. His beheading. I guess the breaking of the neck. Hung by the head. Thank you for your correction. Yes, I did get your link here. I will. This is according to. All right, let's say. Let's add this. Okay, let's remove that. And then we'll add that screen back. Okay, so here's some video of different areas. See a lot of people walking around. There's an explosion. There's a lot of people walking around. There's somebody in a wheelchair. Oh, can we stop that video? Freeze it. Slow it down. Look at him closely. Alright, we'll play this in the background. I just have to pull something else. Whoa, 5 IMs. Man, popular. Alright, let me just pause this for a moment. Hopefully these are all good. Oh, it's too extreme. Alright. Alright, thank you. Alright, I got that information. I've got to move this over so it's in front of me. There we go. I'll make a couple of changes. And then I'll go back to this on top. Go back to this so you guys can watch that video feed. There we go. They tighten security, deploy tactical officers are deployed at airports. Link this video. This is do you want this video or do you want the video I posted earlier? This is this video. That's true. So far I haven't seen people dying. I see lots of movement of people. Hey, Shula Dula Dula. I think I didn't say that right. Shula Dula. There we go. You made this video? That's not very nice, BS detector. I'm detecting a little something from you. All right. Okay, good. I'm in there. Yabba dabba do. Not yabba dabba do. Alright, and then in here. Yeah, just a little bit of detection going on. Just a little bit. Oh, I need to go to... There we go. Yeah, you guys are funny. Alright. Turkish Prime Minister says evidence points to ISIL being behind...
Please choose a sponsored video. Your content will begin shortly.
Thank you. Okay. Ah, I hate that. I've got to figure out how to do that and mute the tab so I don't have to listen to ads. Let's try that again. Do I read spy novels? I haven't read a novel. I did read a novel recently. It wasn't not a spy novel. And I normally don't read novels. I'll say that.
A sponsored video. Your content will begin shortly.
There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see if that's good. Okay. Just moving things. Do you want me to show extreme video? I don't. Oh, you're talking about earlier? I'll give you the link to that. Here you go. You take medication? Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, I'll go back to this one. So, these are just two talking heads, so I'm gonna take these off the screen. And then I was going to do this. David has too many things open. There we go. You need medication to watch Fawn? Yeah, some people do, I suppose. And you say Vaughn is your medication? Or watching my show? That's pretty funny. Okay. So sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's not. That's pretty funny. Okay. I'm trying to figure out. I'm your medication. Some people say that. I'm nice and calm. I have a calming effect on a lot of people. Which I like to be a calming person.
Okay. What's going on?
Okay.
Everything
I
good?
just got everything up. So
Oh, great. Thank
that's
you.
all.
Thank you for doing that. I'll be just in a second. I'm going to feed the fish.
Okay. Good. All right, we could okay, sounds good. The Sarah Talk Show. I'm not Turkish. Are you Turkish?
Those fishies love it when I come in there and feed them.
Oh, I bet the
it's
fish
the high point of their
come
day.
up to you and like, oh, David, I love you.
Koi really are kind of
love to-
amazing. Yeah.
So happy you're here.
Well, they're kind of like a really survival fish. I mean, I've
I
never
know.
seen. They handle the winter and the summer. They can handle really ice cold temperatures too.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. We're not going to show you our fish because the fish are outside. They're swimming in our little pond. It's a pretty cool pond, I will say that. Koi, carp, goldfish, pretty much the same. And David has been feeding them. We got them a few years ago, and David's just been feeding them. We got them when they were like this big, and now they're like this big, this wide. They're pretty cool. All right. Yes, slow night, 64 viewers. Everybody's going and watching other people. Hi, Eduardo. Thank you for coming into our show. I've been trying to get this chat going, so I'm glad you're here. It helps me. All right. Come and chat about the okay. Okay. Let's tweet that out. Fantastic. What's the most viewers I've had? Not enough. The one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. I don't know. I don't actually keep track of all of my viewers. I just thank you all for watching. It's been very helpful. I appreciate it. We all want more. Exactly. It's nice to talk to people. So, oh, I like it. It has a little video of me. Nice. All right, good. What are you talking about, Super Dave? Do you want me to go back to the video? Will that be helpful for you? I was just wondering what's your problem, bud? Oh, is it skipping? The video is skipping? Alright, let me see. It might be because I've decided to cast on more sites, but I don't see that as a problem. Because I personally think that the more shows that we have going on, the more interaction we should. David definitely believes that's true. 2344. Oh, here, let me bring this in. Where is this? There's some kind of overturned. This is Russia Today TV. All right, I'll go back out of that. Well, no. Even though I would say David is an altruist, he's not going to be starting any group like that, 976. What would be the point of that? Okay, maybe I need to grab it with this one. There we go. All right. David is taking a break. Oh, if I'm frozen, you can try my other streams on my other shows. I think I'm going to go out of the film on thing in order to, remove. There we go. Somebody can link that to David in the future if you guys want him to see that. No. So, Sarah 6 TVO. You decided to take Sarah's name. Hello, Walter. Yes, I can read your chat. Thank you for coming in. Did you see my link on Twitter, or how did you find out about us? I'm glad you're here. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Istanbul. Of course, if you have a link for what's going on in Istanbul, here on YouTube, yes, cool, Walter, thanks, glad to hear it. David Sponheim believes that this might be a false flag, in order, or it might not have happened, or things like that. David says that with every mass casualty event, mainly because there's not a lot of evidence that many people were hurt, and he's not at the actual event to prove it, I guess. Is David always correct? No. Every once in a while, David will be wrong, and he'll come in and apologize for being wrong about something. It has happened, but David has a lot of things that he believes. So you're for once you're preoccupied with everything hitting the fan in England. Yes, there is a lot happening over there in England with the Brexit, etc. I would be preoccupied if I were living over there. Hopefully, so in Istanbul today, Walter, according to the mainstream media, there was an attack at the Istanbul airport. There was a gentleman who was shot, and then he, at least one, possibly more, there was a person who blew himself up. They said suicide attackers killed more than 30 people and wounded dozens more at Istanbul's main airport. Yes, the vice president can help get the president elected, but the people who really gets the president elected are the people, the American people, and it's all about how you vote, and also about getting David onto the ballot. CNN just showed a clip that looked pretty real. All right, I'll pull that up. Thank you, Randy. I don't know what that is, Walter. Oh. Yes. So, like, universal benefit. Because you're in... I guess they have different names for it in the UK. But yes, we do support in the US having a universal... having for US citizens changing our welfare system so that any U.S. citizen could receive $400 a month. Any U.S. adult citizen could receive that rather than our current welfare system, which gives a certain, it varies depending on people's income. And, okay. Internet name for it. I had not heard of it. It does make sense in an automated modern world, considering there's so many people that, so many jobs that many people don't want to do now, but they can definitely do them. The whole idea is that our welfare system is definitely broken and we need a better solution to our welfare system. Yes. Brexit was voted for by people fearing for jobs, which is daft when 2% make all the food, etc. Well, I trade Justin. Who's Justin? Randy. All right.
Turns out that there are 5 food companies now in America. 5 food companies. That's all we have.
All right, so here's David coming in. So
thank you.
I'm glad that Randy and Walter are in our YouTube chat. So this is David Sponheim. And
oh, hey. Hi, Randy and Walter. Hi, I'm back.
All right.
What's going on? I am here. Hello. So, Sarah, what's been happening? Just discussion of the Istanbul airport explosions?
So you want Justin Trudeau to come down here and you want David to go up to Canada? I could see how you would want that.
I'm not a New World Order guy like he is. His family has a lot of heavy-duty connections.
I know.
And I don't believe that he should have done what he did when he allowed 25,000 refugees into Canada. I think it's a mistake to allow refugees into our countries right now. We have a wait-and-see policy in America. We should have a wait-and-see policy. Unfortunately, Obama has betrayed our trust, and he's opening up a back door to all of them as he leaves the presidency. And we've got no one better to fill his shoes right now with the two parties putting out these puppet candidates like Hillary and Donald, both part of the establishment. Trudeau didn't give those firefighters any international assistance, too, up there in Alberta, which makes me wonder, was he purposely trying to destroy all that acreage so that they could use it for uranium mining? That's what a lot of people around the world are talking about. Okay, we got the truth.
That must have been fun, Mad Dog.
Interesting. Yeah, so that was good.
Well, the refugee issue is becoming a problem worldwide, I believe.
It is, yeah. It's all converging at the same time. And this policy of Agenda 21 and New World Order is globalism goes hand in hand with...
Dear friends.
Globalism goes hand in hand with the idea of the New World Order. You see, the elitists will use whatever means possible, whether it's using Muslim jihadists to implement a takedown of a nation that could pose a problem, like America could. They'll use terrorism. The elitists will use terrorism, and we believe that a lot of the terrorism around the world may very well be fabricated. When I say we, I don't mean Sarah and I mean the American people here in our show. Sarah and I sometimes differ on a lot of these issues. Truth Tuesday touches on false flag issues. Sarah believes that these are real issues. These are real stories. She hasn't come out claiming that they're false flags. I don't mind that. I really don't, because we come together. We may disagree on certain key issues, but we come together with the goal outlined in our platform, which is solid. How to fix the country. We can all disagree how bad the country is and how screwed up it is. Thank you. It's not about believing me. You see, I don't ask Sarah to agree to me. Anything I say, she doesn't have to agree with me.
Yeah, maybe you think it's real terrorism, but it may be deliberately stirred up and provoked, Walter says over at YouTube, and that might be a good point. So, Randy, some of our other viewers said that when Obama goes up to Canada, he and Justin Trudeau sleep on bunk beds.
Yeah.
So that should be something for Canadians to look forward at too. I don't know.
I really didn't understand that, other than the fact that they're having a Brokeback Canadian mountain adventure or something. I have no idea. The idea of that sounds really kind of odd.
Of course I believe in David. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in David, as you should believe in David too. You shouldn't be here if you don't believe in David.
There's a whole issue by issue difference of opinion going on here in our show. We come together differing on a lot of issues.
I didn't differ on you this evening.
No, but I mean, we differ on a lot of issues regarding false flags. I'm not seeking Sarah's agreement on any of these issues, nor am I seeking yours. I'm merely selling you on what I see. And if you don't believe it, that's fine.
Well, I was looking and I said, well, I had this video up. I decided to take it down because it was streaming down, and I didn't, and I decided to cast on 4 different sites. So I didn't stream it, but it was film on Russia TV 2, and I was like, yeah, so there's an explosion. I see a lot of people walking around. Oh wait, there's somebody in a wheelchair. Should we slow it down?
Yeah.
There's a lot more people walking around. I didn't see any sheets covering any bodies or anything like that. So
I didn't see any blood, and I haven't seen any blood. Can you show me a photograph of blood from the Istanbul? Anybody? I challenge anybody to show me some blood. And I'm not a person who's into blood. I'm not the vampire.
That's pretty good, Willie Pickles. I also now is the time for Sponheim. Make sure you check there too. And
oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that too. That's great. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm not sure where you're going with that concept, Carpet Dog. We've had problems with you in the past. Willie! For the people. Oh yeah, for the people. Let's do it, Willie. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I've always felt that we need to characterize this as a grassroots for the people movement. It really has been that from the very beginning. I'm an average guy who's got great ideas for the country, and I'm not trying to force myself upon you. I haven't had any mainstream media attention at all, though. Yeah, I do have moxie, and it disturbs me that this country is so shut down and so many people are just not taking the time to open the doors. I mean, we've got media shutting people off all the time. You guys could be communicating daily on C-SPAN. This could be a more interactive show because people could be calling in if you thought you could trust the call. We have a lot of people that don't call in. People want to just watch, which is okay too. Randy Smith says maybe setting up next false flag. Canada is due. We let anybody in this country. Yeah, Randy, good point. When Justin Trudeau allowed 25,000 people to go into Canada, he opened the door to potential problems with refugees. Why he did that, I don't know. Other than the fact that maybe he has family connections to the Illuminati. I don't know. He'd have to convince me otherwise. I would be very suspicious if I were to meet Justin Trudeau and he'd want me to do a bunk bed meeting with him in Canada. Oh, David, you could stay in our bunk bed, and we could do this together. It'd be like a fishing trip. And it's like, no, Justin, I'm not seeking a Brokeback Mountain experience. Thank you. Sounds French, but does your hair blow from the left to the right or the right to the left? My hair is ambidextrous. It blows whichever way the wind blows. Yeah, does he get into that, really? You're making all this stuff up. A lot of you make things up in the chat room. If you watch this, stop a witch hunt against poor Illuminatis, what are you, taking the side of the archdeacon of evil? What are you, one of Satan's henchmen coming into our show? This is Truth Tuesday. We don't allow that stuff here. You can't take the side of evil. You must take the side of good in this show. Yeah, really. I mean, if you are Illuminati, then you got problems. You got problems. in your brain. You see, the digital matrix is being formed, and they're going to have their eyes set on you. And people think that the Illuminati have already taken control of our agencies, the NSA, the CIA. And you might be right. They may have already co-opted all those agencies. When you think about it, they see us as the walking dead. This is how the elitists look at us. As you look at the walking dead, they look at you with the all-seeing eye, and they say, oh yes, they are just the unclean waiting to die. Let's just accelerate the process. Yeah. Isn't that weird? Yeah, so this is how they see us. I don't want to be seen that way. And in order to keep us happy, they feed us the bread and circuses, the story about the aliens. A long, long time ago, aliens took over the world, and we're all just little the whole thing is preposterous. No one's ever seen an alien. So let's just get rid of that story too. There we go. Now we can clarify things and look at things logically. What do we have here? We have a bunch of global elitists that live right around here. In fact, I even know where they're located. They have these weird ceremonies that are bizarre, like the one in Switzerland recently. Let's just say they're located somewhere in this region. All right? This is the eye of the Illuminati. And they live in these castles, or whatever, and they have this one intent, and that is world domination. Kind of cute, huh? You gotta love that, you know. Somehow they think that they are chosen to take over the world. Entertaining and invigorating. That's very good. Cool. I do believe in crop circles, yes. Humans can definitely create crop circles. I definitely agree. Humans can build beautiful churches. What if I told you that this church was built by humans, actual humans, relatives of mine, in Germany? Freak you out? So humans can do quite a bit. Yeah. Would you believe that humans could do that? That is part of the Sponheim area. It's in the town of Sponheim, yes. It's a castle. Well, that's a church. Rush wants me on his show. Oh, I believe that. Yeah, Rush who? I mean, the guy who's obviously on a good diet to keep his weight down. I hope Rush makes it. That's the outside of the church that I just showed you. The Kloster Sponheim, in the town of Sponheim, in Germany. So I am of Germanic heritage originally, but I'm an American, born and raised. My father was born and raised in America, and we're truly Americans here. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Uh-oh. There we go. Pretty cool church, though, I've got to admit. But it would take years to build something like this. So crop circles happen overnight, but I was saying earlier that it's possible that they were actually laid down by small little drones. A standard drone can create a crop circle. Drones, yeah. Beautiful drones. Yeah, this could easily create a crop circle. It wouldn't take long, yeah. You can imagine how it could be done too. So that could fly in and kind of push all the different things down, and maybe a little razor cut with a laser or something. So why are we here to believe in aliens? Let's talk about really our future, because I don't see any aliens in the future. Maybe Hillary does, but I don't. I think it's all a lie of BS coming out of the richest people in the world, and their private pocketbook is to control our world. So they've created all these fictitious stories, which they themselves probably don't believe. They probably laugh. Oh, and do you realize that they believe the stories about the aliens? Isn't that fabulous? Oh, they're so simple-minded, too. They have absolutely no clue that we have so many different things that can control the world. Yes, and we even created a homosexual Muslim president who dances around. We can do anything. And he's married to a transgender. Ha, 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 ha. So they have this whole idea that they can put one over on us. And there's nothing we can do. That's the whole premise of this show. They are in charge. And who are they? Well, they are 9/11, the Order of the Garter. And they're so pompous that they could actually have 9/11, the Order of the Garter, as their name. And by the way, Prince William is part of this group. He was inducted over 5 years ago. Prince William and Kate were simply made to happen for the Illuminati and the aristocrats. Who are these people? I don't really know, but there's some pretty rich people in this section here. They say the Queen has over $21 trillion in personal wealth. She's not hurting for cash, if you wonder. James Mason, yes. Possible. I was doing an impersonation of somebody. But yeah, they've got total control, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. So they come out of their little secret place on occasion. They even owned the World Wildlife Fund. And you know why? WWF, I don't mean Worldwide Wrestling. The World Wildlife Fund is owned by the elitists, and they essentially use it because they wanted good game to go hunting. We simply want the best possible antelope to blow their heads off with high-powered rifles. It's so much fun to just drop them like flies from an airplane. That's what we're dealing with here. So now you know, what are you going to do about it? I just told you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you save your world, save your nation. They see you as absolute imbeciles, the useless eaters. With a puff of smoke, a cannabis church has appeared in Lansing, Michigan, folks. I hope these aren't the Satanists that are gathering in Detroit. Lansing State Journal is opening up their own little church, the Church of Cannabis. I know the Queen was the largest landowner in Mississippi, Willie. I hear you.
The biggest question that I get is, how can this be a church if we don't subscribe to a religious theology? If I'm not sitting here preaching from a book, if I don't have prophets that told us how to behave, how...
They came to get high. They read from the book of dope.
How can we call ourselves a church? Well, the reality is it just sounded better than Cannabis Cult.
Cannabis Cult sounds a little bit weird. Well, good for them. Jeremy Hall, ordained minister in the new church, First Church of Cannabis of Logic and Reason in Lansing, Michigan. Well, you know, there's always been crackpots all around the world who think this is a big joke, smoking marijuana. They want to pursue the church just to, get legitimacy. I support legalization of marijuana, as you know, and there's no reason why I would waver on that issue. You sound retarded. Is that like retarded without the... Is that a French word for retarded? But you sound retarded. What is retarded? I mean, you learn how to spell, man. There should be a requirement to actually take a spelling bee to come into the chat room, but instead we have the VIP capacity server issue. Okay, I've got a lot of things to catch up on. We've talked a little bit about the fakery of the alien thing that Stephen Greer put out, and how Ripley's Believe It or Not actually had a story on that, showing a very similar shrunken human. Very, very serious. Erdogan apologizes to Putin over the death of the pilot, the Russian pilot. This is better late than never, and Putin accepted it and actually published it in the press in Russia. So Russia Today launched this particular video segment talking about it.
From the Russian official.
The Russian president has received a message from Turkish President Erdogan in which the Turkish leader said he's interested in settling the situation connected with the downing of a Russian military jet. The Turkish leader expressed his compassion and deep condolences for the relatives of the killed Russian pilot.
Well, this is a step in the right direction, but it does kind of make you wonder, can Turkey be trusted and will they remain an ally of NATO as they begin to side with Russia again? So we'll see how that dynamic plays out. We really don't know. And of course, we talked earlier about the 700 pilgrims who died allegedly in Mecca in 2015. Yet we have a record of 2,236 people that died. So somehow the discussion of 700 pilgrims was morphed into 2,236, and we really never found out why they all stampeded on each other. So we can't really figure that one out either. That's over a year ago. It's false flag Turkeyheim. And we have not discussed the transgender issue at all tonight. So thank you very much for not bringing up all these weirdos that want to have their bodies mutilated. It clearly is a psychiatric issue, and why people are being endorsed by the Democrats to do this, I don't know. I don't think there's one psychiatrist in the world that would stand there and say that it's a perfectly normal act to chop your penis off. No, my campaign's the real deal. It's the real deal. ATP is. That's the way it should be. David and Sarah, please tell us the truth about black violence in America and what you plan to do about it. Okay. Well, marijuana legalization, which I've been talking about for some time now, is a big part of reducing black violence. I'm absolutely positive that people who are high on marijuana do not get pissed off and beat each other up. So as we bring in the $400 per month per U.S. adult, a lot of people are just going to go out and buy some joints and sit there and go, "Hey man, what's going on? Oh yeah, like whatever," and there's no hostility whatsoever. So as we also legalize marijuana, I know you can disagree all you want, but because I know you disagree with me, as we legalize marijuana, we will also lower the addiction to cocaine, and I'm talking crack. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, crack cocaine could be a big induced element in violence. I mean, there are people that kill each other over a dime bag of crack cocaine. So don't think for a second they're going to kill each other over a couple joints. I mean, let's be real here. Chemtrails are spraying. That'll lower the amount of activity, yeah. But we will be stopping the chemtrails and stopping the fluoride in the water. And a lot of people are just going to go, hey, let's just solve problems. Let's talk. So communication is key here. Communication is key. All right, so we're going to solve the violence issue also by providing housing projects in areas like Cincinnati and Detroit and Chicago, and areas that are definitely stricken with problems. We have the Homestead Renewal Plan, which I think is awesome. It's rock solid. It's a great mainstay to America's Third Party's plan to revive the nation. And it'll take place automatically as soon as I start the presidency. I will not need congressional support to implement this. It'll be operating through HUD, and a program in HUD right now, which is funded to the tune of $4 billion. So we already have that. That's already in line, ready to start implementing. And these will be shovel-ready jobs. Anybody who can paint walls and help laying down carpeting, it's a pretty easy task. You don't have to be a journeyman plumber, but we will want journeyman plumbers and electricians to work the basic details out to meet code. So there will be $25 an hour jobs, and there are going to be a lot of $10 an hour jobs, just to make it fair. And people will be able to donate their time, and whenever you donate your time, you'll get a point. Each day you donate your time, and that point will go toward a down payment on either your house or somebody you want to donate it to. So if we've got older people who are retired, journeyman plumbers, and they want to help out, hey, yeah, we'd definitely get your free services, and you'd get a point every day you work, and you'd give those points, and they would mean cash on a down payment on a house just like this. We'll be flipping houses like this for around $50,000. You will be able to own a house like this in 10 years at $500 a month payments, outright. There'll also be lease plans for less than that per month, less than $500 a month payments, where you lease a house for 99 years. There'll also be opportunities to have kitchenettes in motels for free. For a voucher of $10, we'll give you a kitchenette. So the government's going to get back into the housing business when I become president. All right, thank you. And these won't be projects like they were in Detroit. These will really be nice neighborhoods. We'll have a theme, a holistic theme, like a park built in the middle of these groups of houses that people will be able to gather. Gathering at the park. And housing will be done in blocks. We'll do an entire 25 homes at once with a central park theme. And one of the houses, or two of the houses, will be demolished just to create the park. Well, a good home in Ohio right now costs, well, I'm going to say you can get a decent home for under $50,000 right now. Oh, you got back from your first ever local Board of Commissioners meeting. Original Sky Scion is participating in local government. Good for you, man. I've been to a few of those. Absolutely. They are boring, though. A lot of government at the county level is incredibly boring. Well, you know, what part of Ohio you want to be? Springfield, Ohio? Let's see what they have. We can take a look at housing right now in Springfield, Ohio, if you want. And don't tell me you live in Springfield, because I've been guessing people's locations on our show. Thank you. All right, looking at... oh my goodness, there's houses... This is $2.5 thousand. So that's $2,500, really? How's that possible? Wow, there you go, folks. It's an auction price. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I buy that, flip it, and we put brand new siding on it, and that house will almost look as good as the house above it. That's a $2,500 buy-in. Now, there's so many of these I can't even tell you. Well, that's just a start. I'm trying to get you something better, okay? That's at under $10,000. Let me set my parameters here to up to $50,000. Let's see what happens. A lot more pop up on the map, as you can see. Trailers for sale or rent. Okay, let's take a look here. We got some decent houses. $10,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Springfield, Ohio. $10,000. Rooms to let, 50 cents. Look at this house, the bones in this house. Now, there's a lot of nice houses in Springfield. The architecture, the bones of this house is good. That's right, it's king of the road. Dun, dun. We waste so much of the food that the Congress might actually do something. I know, tell me about it. Food waste date labels are BS, folks. If you don't check your label, please don't throw away food that says expired. I'm eating Y2K food. Not just for a gag, I really am eating my Y2K food. Representative Pingree in the center and Senator Richard Blumenthal are pushing a bill to standardize all those use by labels on food. Republicans and Democrats have something they might be able to agree on. Garbage is bad. That is, they agree that too much food is being tossed in the garbage, as much as 40% of all the food produced. 40%! They've just looked it up. The Queen is the biggest landowner in the world. She owns 1/6 of the earth. Oh, thank you, Willie. It's so nice to have the statistics to back that up. All right, Willie, we're looking at a nice house here, okay, for under 10 grand. Now, this is an auction price, folks, so you can't guarantee it. Some of you people want to look at the meat and potatoes here and get into the house, right? Take a look at some of the bones of the house. Let's take a look. Gold is up above 1318 at 1318.20. Silver is making a climb again to $17.85 per ounce. And the Dow Jones is coming back, 17,409. Thanks, Scissor Fight. Doop, doo, doop, doo, doo, doo. Doop, 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 doo, doo. Okay, let's see. I grew up with that song. 7,500 2-bedroom, 1-bath auction. You know, I'm getting tired of the auctions. Here's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath foreclosure. $40,000. Oh, they won't give me details. They're asking me to sign in now. They've given me a free check. Here's $45,000. Here we go. I want to get some bedrooms in here and look at some of the insides. Well, you can field your insults. You guys are really improving. I want to commend all the trolls that have been hating on me the past few years. Good job, dude. You're starting to really trim your act. You're finally learning how to talk in the chat room. I appreciate that. You know, it's not a big deal to hold the insults back and talk about the issues. Okay, here you go. This is a wonderful house. Look at this. We're talking $44,900, right in that price range. Decent, interior, lovely, fantastic. Okay, we're done here. You get my point. 71% of Americans believe the economy is rigged. I agree. It is rigged. The county agreed to build a solar farm along the Greystone Power, agreeing to move their high quality to Paladin County. Do you agree with that? Is it going to cost the taxpayer, the property taxpayers in your area, a lot of money? Original Sky Science? So this is a CNN or CIA poll that was taken. 71% of Americans believe the economy is rigged. Yeah. They want you to believe that the people believe that the economy is rigged. Because it is rigged. Thanks for the guess. No problem, man. No. You're criticizing and insulting me. If you question...
I either get a job, win the lottery, or sell the house and move my van. The last actual job that I had was the end of January to April of 2013. And it was a manufacturing job. It was a custom contract manufacturing house. The first 7 weeks I were there, we were busier than I've ever seen a small company be. And then, like someone flipped a switch.
Now, he may have been in the real estate industry, which has really been struggling in some areas.
The work just stopped. I would like to work. I still have skills and abilities, and I still know how to use them.
And he's got these great sunglasses. I mean, he could be a sunglass model, don't you think?
2 associate degrees. One's in electrical engineering technology, the other one's in mechanical engineering.
He's got 2 associate's degrees, and he can't find a job. See, I'm serious. This is happening all around the country.
Technology. The highest paid job I had was, there were 3 temp jobs I had when I lived in Minnesota.
I think he could be a male model, you know. There's got to be some work for people like these guys. Or better yet, why not just give him $400 a month and have him kind of survive in his mom's house or something? You know, there's got to be a way around this problem. No, I've never been to a psychiatric facility in my life except to visit. When I was a young man, I went to a psychiatric facility to visit. We were visiting a friend of my family, and it was a very weird experience. You heard of snake pits before. There's some pretty tragic snake pits out there for mentally ill people. The Senate agrees on DARK Act GMO labeling bill. Yeah, I heard they slipped this on the side. Scissorfight's talking about this. Natural News profiled this yesterday, but this DARK Act GMO labeling bill, it's going to completely eliminate GMO labeling, which is dangerous. We will be kept in the dark on a lot of foods that are not labeled. I don't think it'll affect the non-GMO labeling, so people can still produce non-GMO, because a lot of companies are now gearing up for this big time. You'd be surprised. I went to the market today, and I saw so many non-GMO labels. It was amazing. In almost every food category. Yeah, you don't eat the labels, but some of you like to buy non-GMO food. Yeah, as I do. I'm only eating non-GMO bread now, and we're paying a premium. A loaf of bread is like $5, non-GMO. The U.S. Senate has announced a bipartisan deal which will prevent states from labeling genetically modified foods in favor of a federal labeling system. Here's what you need to know. On Thursday, the U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry agreed on a new bill aimed at labeling foods genetically modified ingredients. The committee has been trying for several months to get a bill passed before Vermont's labeling law goes into effect on July 1st. Okay? It's an important path forward that represents a true compromise. It would immediately prohibit states and cities from passing labeling laws for genetically modified or engineering ingredients. Anything such as genetically modified resistance to herbicides like glyphosate. The majority of the U.S. corn and soybean crops are now genetically modified, including a large portion that is used for animal feed. Seriously, a lot of our corn is contaminated. You have no college degree and make a lot of money per year. Good for you. You're in the money. Only if you have to pay taxes if you are at the threshold and you're making over $10,000, over $9,000 a year. Yes, you do. Based on current tax code law, you have to pay taxes. If you've got 1099s and W-2s, they'll get you. If you have employers or contracted workers or other companies putting and submitting those things, they'll get you. Just like Wesley Snipes. So you have to pay taxes. Until we reverse that with a flat tax, you have to do it. Master Meatball took 45 minutes to get in here, folks. Look at this. And we've been talking about the censorship. It's been unbelievable. So sorry to hear that, Master Meatball. I'm trying to open up our chat rooms right now, so 45 minutes to get in here from Master Meatball. It's easy to judge people. Walk in their house. Okay. Microsoft forced to pay a woman $10,000 after automatically downloading Windows 10 on her PC. Remember we were talking about this a couple weeks ago? And Microsoft immediately reversed the problem, but there was a time when Microsoft auto-downloaded, even though you didn't agree with it. If you tried to X out of the screen, it auto-downloaded. This woman filed lawsuit, apparently. The woman claims that the automatic update failed to install and made her computer unusable. Oh, really? That's even more of a concern. Tech giant Microsoft has made a $10,000 payout to the woman. Huh. Wow. Terry Goldstein claims that Windows 10 attempted and failed to install itself on a computer without her permission, according to the Seattle Times. Wow. That's good she gets $10,000, but I mean, can you imagine the people now? They're going to try to... This isn't a toupee, this is my real hair. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I don't want Windows 10 installed on my computer. I don't trust it. I believe that the NSA got into it and somehow embedded code. I really believe that. I haven't lost a lot of hair. I've got a big head of hair, man. I keep a tight haircut. You should stop saying that and go away. Thank you. I'm not sure why my mechanics are not working in this department. Please contact the host provider for more assistance. Reboot. Hi, I'm David Sponheim. I'm running for president. Let's talk about how I can make your world better. $400 per month would be good. I gotta tell you, it really matters to me. That everybody has something. There's 4 million homeless people now. That's the truth. 4 million homeless people in America. I don't get involved in drug dealing, and I'm not into money like you guys are. But I do want to legalize marijuana, and I don't want you to forget that behind the scrim here, we've got a lot of great programs that'll help our nation. And it's not a Windows 10 operation. We have, the truth is, Microsoft started their business on the backbone of your tax dollars. Microsoft made a lot of money back in the old days selling computers to the government. And that's how Bill Gates became so famous and so powerful so fast. The government has its fingers in almost every single technical area. Unfortunately, it's only as an investor. It's not as an actual scientist or technologist. The government, for all intents and purposes, is technologically retarded. As evinced by the FBI's attempt to gain access to your personal private Apple encryption programs that Apple spent a lot of money to try to create. Isn't that amazing? FBI didn't even know to hack a mobile device. They actually told Apple that they had to reveal the encryption, even though it was public knowledge that Apple had made it clear that any mobile phone could be encrypted and then hacked into. It's a common knowledge that you can break the encoding if you take about an hour. So the FBI didn't even know that when they put the lawsuit together. That's how far off the grid the FBI is. Plus, the Justice Department took 5 years just to make warnings at the Justice Department site, warning people about phishing scams from Nigeria. Now you go to the Department of Justice, they warn you about that. But it took 5 years for them to post a sign. You know how many old people were taken for everything they have in America? Because the Justice Department didn't put out a public service announcement? That's the truth. A lot of people have been fleeced. You may have known people who've been fleeced. If you have, give me a call at 707-YOUR-ATP. Talk about it. If your grandma has lost her money to some Nigerian scam, I want to hear about it. Supermodel Christina Estrada wants X to pay for a $262 million lifestyle. And believe me, if you look like the supermodel Christina Estrada, you'd want to have $262 million just to look that good. There she is. And why is this a problem for somebody asking for money out of their marriage, Anne? Are you jealous? Do you want to look like her or something? No, I've never been arrested for marijuana use because I've never smoked marijuana publicly or even in a way that might get me arrested. Yeah, I've always been very safe and sane whenever doing it. Offshore, on some sort of an island or a ship, you can do it legally. You can do it in California and Oregon. In California, you have to have a medical marijuana permit or pharmaceutical prescription. Oregon and Washington, you can do it recreationally. Why is this woman a supermodel? I'm not really sure. I mean, if she's a supermodel, how come I'm not? I mean, who did she know that I didn't know? Check this video out, please. Okay, Leroy.
Police and security guards in Belgium were caught flat-footed today by a cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when a team of hitmen meet him first with a pie in the face. Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured. The hit squad piled on with 2 more pies before one of them was wrestled to the ground and arrested. The others, for at least the moment, got away.
Thank you. That was Dan Rather. That was Dan. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Rather. From CBS News. Thank you, Dan. We now go to Bill Gates in recovery at the Alzheimer's Clinic in Bellevue. Bill, how are you feeling now after being thrown? This is a long time ago. It was like 2010. Wow. Bill's doing okay. He just is a little demonic, and he wants to somehow get rid of the human population with his eugenics plan and his creation of the Zika virus mosquito hybrids. That was a weird one. You know that Bill Gates is connected to the spread of the Zika virus? It's a fact. Yep. He was supporting a genetically modified mosquito, which he was going to help the world population problem with. And lo and behold, now we have Zika, a dangerous microcephalic producing genetic mutation virus which is found in mosquitoes. Bill Gates, pie in the face. It happens. I mean, no matter where you go, if you're public, it could happen at any time. We've got a guest here named Guest Boringheim. Hi, Guest Boringheim. Call in. Talk about your life. Have you known somebody who got fleeced for hundreds of thousands of dollars? Did Grandma and Grandpa lose their entire estate, which you were going to inherit, to a guy named Abdul Lumumba from Zambia? I'm sure they're making phone calls right now.
Hello, yes, this is the headquarters of the Zambian government who would like to try to get you to receive your $1 million. We need you to transfer $335,000 into an account in Zambia.
And Mom and Grandma and Grandpa go, oh, well, honey, if the only way we can get our $1 million is to send $35,000 to them for transfer fees. And Grandma and Grandpa go, well, And they're greedy, like so many people are, because they don't have enough money. They're in a fixed income, so they give away their last life savings to Bwana Abdul Lumumbo from Zambia. Now, if I called you on the phone right now, would you believe that I was a very intelligent businessman who could give you a chance to win $1 million received for inheritance for being a great people? I mean, these people fleece your grandma and grandpa, and our government does next to nothing to stop this. I don't really know. Bill Gates may be autistic. I'm not here to pass judgment on people. I just know that he was behind the eugenics plan of creating the Zika mosquito virus. Now, what about the story? Have you heard the story that's being suppressed right now, which I've been talking about for at least 8 years, about Obama and Michelle not having given birth to Sasha and Malia? Well, a lot of people are believing this right now, that Sasha and Malia didn't actually come from Barack and Michael. Well, how could Michael have given birth? I mean, he's a dude. I mean, think about it. And this is a very good link we just got from Scissor Fight. Thanks, Scissor Fight. Geoengineering, the real proof of climate engineering, is going on right now. And this site does a really good job. This is geoengineeringwatch.org, profiling how they're actually manipulating the air, creating L bracket, like geoengineered weather patterns. Normally the Earth is all spheres. The Coriolis effect is going on in both the northern and southern hemisphere on a regular basis. And when you see lines like this that are completely straight, which is something Pacific Redwood, which is a site we feature in the evening, he tracks this all the time. You're seeing a straight L bracket line. This is the telltale sign of electromagnetic stimulation of the ionosphere. What could very well be a willful, malicious attempt to create a drought in California, for instance, or create a hurricane like Hurricane Sandy that happened. The only hurricane in the history of hurricanes in the region of the east coast of America that actually made a left turn into oncoming traffic, oncoming wind. Essentially, Hurricane Sandy did the unthinkable. It hooked left while the Earth is, and the prevailing winds are going west, from west to east. It went into the west winds. There's no precedent for that, other than electromagnetic alterations. So they could have created Hurricane Sandy that got Barack Obama the endorsements from Michael Bloomberg as well as Chris Christie, which led to his re-election in 2012. So fast forward 4 years, here we are, still no solutions coming from our government. Isn't that amazing? A president that is absolutely out to lunch in more ways than one. An okey-doke president who doesn't even know how to speak without a teleprompter. did a backbeat that was different than Scissor Fight. I did this backbeat.
Okie doke.
Not bad. Yeah, I don't think either one can match. I think Scissor Fight did a great job on that. Thank you. Okay, hey, hi there. Can I ask you a question? Yes, you can. Go ahead, 347. It's your question, my time. And you've got a linky. Let's take a looky. Oh, no, Ann, why are you doing that? You're putting hairy guys on the screen with guns. Don't do that, Ann. It makes us look like a bunch of gun-toting extreme right-wingers. We're not. We're centrists, man. I would think you'd know that. Be a little bit more careful, okay? You know, arguing that my beat sucks, you just forced my beat onto the show for the next 3 minutes. There you go. Here we go. My beat. Thank you. I am neither a geek nor a dork. I am a evolved human being with an incredibly high intellect. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. What is your question? We discussed the 9/11 the Order of the Garter to recap. Their power over our world government. You can Google 9/11 the Order of the Garter and it'll tell you all about the black mobility. Let's Google it. 9/11 the Order of the Garter. I'll get you a link to show you all the dark channels of power that are out there. Here's the Babylon Matrix wiki. You can check it out. It takes you into very strange directions. There it is. Except it won't post. Look at that. See that? Wow. It's unpostable. Well, just research it yourself. Thank you. FEMA contractor predicts social unrest with a 395% food spike. You know, if I were a FEMA contractor, I'd be fixing this problem and putting residual food storages in FEMA regional centers and get rid of the fencing. But my idea of getting rid of the fencing and using it on the southern border has been kind of neutralized because I haven't been receiving any public press on the issue. All right, so FEMA contractors, there we go. Predicting a social unrest. Food prices spike. The truth is, folks, we don't have any grain reserves in America. FEMA and DHS is retreating to underground bunkers. The U.S. national security industry is planning for the impact of an unprecedented global food crisis lasting as long as a decade, according to reports by a government contractor. This is serious. We know this has been in the works. We know it's not going to get any better soon, and this is what's going down. All right, so the telltale sign is there. The handwriting is on the wall. What are you going to do about it? Voting for a third party will begin to build the FEMA regional centers, and we will have food support for people all around the country in the event of a disaster. FEMA has never done this. You're one toke over the line, okay? All of you. Now, we have a 1,000-mile fence. We want to keep refugees from coming into our country and creating an even bigger problem. That, too, will make a big issue. Donald Trump does not offer a $400 plan per month for people in America. Adults, U.S. citizens, will get $400 per month in my plan. Illegal aliens will begin the process of not finding work because we will prosecute every single employer who doesn't have proof of legal citizenship or green card status. So we've got FEMA and DHS retreating to underground bunkers. Thank you. This show would be nothing without your great links. Thank you so much. And Mark Zuckerberg covers his PC camera and audio jack with tape. A little paranoid much, Mark? Okay, so we will be featuring that video, FEMA and DHS retreating to underground bunkers, coming up at the bottom of the hour. Actually, 9:30 will be our video time. But that's a story that could be good. Yeah. So we have no grain reserves in America. We've got an open border, and I'm the guy with the 1,000-mile fence idea, not Donald. I came up with this idea in 2008. I actually totaled the number of miles needed to cover the border successfully. Well, food prices are skyrocketing right now, but they would not have to enforce martial law if people didn't want to pay for the food prices. People would just live off of smaller amounts of food and possibly cheaper food. I've already seen people flexing within this market economy. 69 new views here in Korea. You love me long time. Thank you, Koreans. Thank you for watching. Yeah, nice fence. Well, this is essentially the border fence that we'll be creating. Donald doesn't have a clue as to how to lay brick. I was saying earlier that the only brick he laid was probably in the toilet bowl this morning. Stating I'm gullible is in fact a purgeable offense because I'm not. I've been tested for the gullibility factor and I came out on a level 1 to 10. 1 being completely gullible, 10 being not gullible. I'm a 10. You're from Mother Russia. We love you in Russia. Good, excellent. You have 8 beefsteak tomato plants going. That's good. I would recommend cherry tomato because they last a little longer into the winter. I'm growing a cherry tomato in my biodome right now. So we can survive. Sarah and I can just pluck those cherry tomatoes off the vines during the late November era. We are headed toward a hunker down period, but I don't know if it's right now. This could have been the case a few years ago, but now with the prevalence of cheap food all over the place, GMO food, where people are dying of cancer from the GMO food, it's more than likely we're going to have plenty of food and we're all going to end up getting tumors from eating it. So if that's a bright note, you know, on the road to starvation, at least you know that you'll have a good meal before you die of your tumor caused by the meal. It's a great movie, yeah, classic. These people, are you banned on Proxy? Damn, how dumb are you? I'm not dumb. I haven't banned anybody in the show. None of the guests have been banned tonight. I know that if I ban that one guest, over 200,000 people cannot come in to the show and hit the VIP capacity server, which is something we really, really need. We're on a couple different chat shows across the globe. We're tracking those. No, I didn't ban you. No, you're here. See, you came into the show. If people want to get in the show, it takes about 50 times hitting on the refresh screen before they can get in. Homes in Vegas are pretty reasonable right now. You can get a decent place for about $30,000 in Vegas. So the price of housing is pretty low compared to the food. But like I said, when people are running into budgetary constraints of the market, they just buy food that is much more affordable. I've been showing people on my Thursday shows how to cook for less than $5 a meal for 5 meals. No, I don't have 69 viewers. I have way more than that. We have over 1 million viewers around the world. This channel is censoring me and keeping me at 69 viewers. I'm telling you, people can't get in here, and they just keep trying. They just can't get in here. I don't know this, no. You have to convince me of it. It doesn't take a lot to realize how to live on less. You don't need 185 IQ to make a meal out of a bag of potatoes, some onions, and some eggs. We don't have 69 viewers. That's a joke. Glyphosate is causing tumors in laboratory animals, and they're pushing it all around the world. If you have not actually, see, less is more, I agree. If you have not actually had to cut costs in your family food budget, you should watch our shows. If you look at my show at youtube.com/David John Sponheim, you can check it out. We've got good videos describing how you can make a meal in 5 minutes for $5. That's last week's. I even made 16 freezer meals for $5 2 or 3 weeks ago. So check it out. Go to the website, and the videos are all laid out for you to watch me make this in real time. You can check it out and conserve. Apparently he is a hater, He doesn't seem to like us. But he can't kick us off because I've never violated his TOS rules, and he knows I'd sue the crap out of him. You can't just cut somebody off a network for no reason. Especially somebody who's built an audience like we have. Okay. Sarah's here, and we are in gear. America's Third Party is in action right now. I'm going to show you, take a little tour of Las Vegas. I want to see if we can find a nice house for 30 grand. I just do a little Zillow search.
Okay.
Las Vegas. Welcome back, Sarah.
Thank you.
You got right in here. You're one of the. Are you in the United States? People from Asia are having a hard time getting into the server that faces the Asian nations. They're being kept out of our chat room. You've seen my crossover punch. It's pretty unpredictable. I don't fight though. I'm a non-violent person. I'm dedicated to non-violence. You're not very bright. Yeah, it's called the NSA talk to him. He said that on his chat room the other day. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been censored big time across the internet. I'm not making this stuff up. Let me take a look here at these houses. 50,000, 2-bedroom. Let's set the threshold for 30,000 and see what pops up. The map will change shortly. Okay. 28,000, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 776 beautiful square feet in Vegas. Now, what would you do in Vegas with a $28,000 house? Go around to the casinos and play penny slots? Not showing up. All right, I think we're good. Oh, I got it. Let me take care of it. Sarah's checking on some of our chat. Oh, goodness.
We have not seen Wiki House, no.
Not yet. Is it good? Every time I do that, it does that.
What do you do?
I just type in the chat room.
What you're doing.
Every time. It automatically resets.
You have to click where it says say something.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay. No. Nope, we have not seen that Wiki house. You got TP and Vaughn? Okay, good. Okay, the hidden secrets of Native American marker trees. Wow. Interesting. You and I went to a pretty interesting Native American museum in Northern California. They have it on the road trip. If you do go down at 101, you can see this beautiful Native American museum. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's a really cool museum.
Yeah,
it has a big statue of Paul Bunyan and...
Trees of Mystery.
Yes.
Trees of Mystery. We have that video, I think. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today's Truth Tuesday. We're trying to bring up the truth about various events that happened today in and around the Istanbul, Turkey area. We're concerned that, there's not a lot of good information still coming out. We haven't seen any blood and guts, which is disturbing to me. Not that I want to see blood and guts, but It's disturbing that, we don't have any facts to look at yet. And we're still waiting on facts from all these other events that are going on around the globe. Orlando still seems kind of sketchy to me. Okay, I guess it's not under Trees of Mystery.
What link did you, what site did you see that? I mean, I saw someone that supposedly exploded. I saw an explosion.
Yeah, I saw the explosion. That looked very real. Like this one.
Yeah.
Countdown to economic collapse. So we're on our way to the countdown of economic collapse, everybody. Welcome. We are possibly looking at some major food spikes. We were shopping today, right?
Right.
And we saw an amazing price increase at the stores of almost everything. I mean, to buy a container of carrot juice this big is $10.
Yep.
To buy a small one is $2.99. Yeah, not like $1.50 like it was about 2 years ago. So it's almost doubled at the store. Okay, unless you live in the middle of a bustling city, trees are probably something you take for granted. They surround us everywhere, making it hard not to forget their existence once in a while. But the average person can most likely identify a few types of trees, like an oak or pine. There are a few trees across the U.S., however, that you can't help but pay attention to when you come across them in the wilderness. Referred to as marker trees, these natural structures were a way for Native Americans to communicate important information from nation to nation. You can spot a marker tree by its curved trunk, which makes it look more alien than earthly. There's a marker tree the Native Americans used. Interesting. Well, thanks so much for sharing this truth about marker trees. All right. Kind of talking about truth tonight. Juice is bad. Yes, I heard this. People who've been juicing regular vegetables,
right,
are getting more glyphosate and herbicides in their body. If you juice organic food, you're less likely to get this herbicide in your body. So they're saying not to juice, and just eat really good quality organic food, as opposed to juicing now. Really, I did not know. I didn't hear this from you, but you say Hillary and Elizabeth are lovers. Thank you. I won't reference you whenever we talk about Hillary. Like, hey, did you hear Hillary and Elizabeth are lovers? I don't know. Who told you that? Guess 1-891176095 from my chat room. I mean, that's really a legitimate thing to say at a party.
Juice banana bread? That does not make sense.
Okay, a Swiss recipe for drug addiction proves a success. Wow. Life throws up many contradictions and conundrums, but human society always works best when it tries to manage rather than obliterate them. At a harm reduction international conference in Vilnius, Lithuania, this person was privileged to hear about a method that they use. Okay. A healthier, the problem with reading articles like this, you have to go through an enormous amount of preambles to get to the actual meat of the article, and then I'm reading typos on most of these things now. Dave, I'll slow this down for you. When you ban a regular user, you can remove it. We have removed the bans on many people who are regular users. You're saying a regular user can remove the ban? I of course know that. You must also realize that we only have certain tools to eliminate regular users from the show who happen to be haters. Yeah. We know that you can manipulate around the backbone of this system. We know that. No, stupid. Read the rest. Don't call me stupid. Hang on. Just let me finish you off here. I'm going to turn you into my mute. All right.
So they say 70% of the opioid users now have some form of treatment, and they put in a program in the 1980s in Switzerland that include housing, social support, work programs, supervised injecting rooms. There's 13 supervised injecting rooms in 8 cities in Switzerland.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Drug testing, needle exchange, methadone programs.
Wait a second. I gotta tell you, this is absolutely insane. These people who in Switzerland think that they're treating people by dumping chemically induced alternatives to heroin, like methadone, which is technically synthesized heroin. And they think they're doing some great thing to help these people by just giving them synthesized heroin as opposed to street garden variety opiate heroin. I mean, this is a joke. The methadone system is a complete mob-run opportunity to make money on legal drug addiction. I mean, the whole big pharma industry is legal drug addiction. So let's not pretend like we're weaning people off of drugs when we're just making them other drug addicts of a different variety. This is absurd. And it kind of reminds me of the Marxist mentality of the libtards that are running our country. They don't know if their prisons reform prison behavior. They have no clue as to whether people have a recidivism rate of prison activity, or criminal activity. They can't even track their effectiveness over the past 50 years of rehabilitation programs in our prisons. They don't know if drugs work because they never check to see. They do know, however, that people get sick and die, and they don't really connect the dots. Apparently heroin is cheaper than methadone, but they get addicted to methadone. It's just like synthetic heroin. Exactly. That's my point. A lot of you have a lot of experience with drugs. Wow. We've got people experts on drug addiction in here. It's amazing.
Wow.
Google it, Paul Stamets, Paul Mushrooms. And why am I Googling a mushroom guy? Because it's dangerous to go actually picking mushrooms in the forest of Azure. You can die. He's the founder and president of Dedicated Mycologist. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got 6 ways mushrooms can save the world. Cleaning polluted soil. Okay, I think I'm onto something. I like that. We'll play that video, 17-minute video tonight on Paul Stamets. Thank you. And his whole story about how mushrooms can save the world. Amazing.
He lives near us and he's an expert. I almost went to see a mycologist this weekend, but I chose not to.
Well, you know, a lot of these people who are mycologists, they run across one mushroom that kills them. I saw a movie recently. What was the name of that? Living in the Wild?
Uh-huh.
It was about a guy living in the wild. It's a top-rated...
Yeah.
It's about a guy who rejected society and lived in the wild, and he was eating food out of a book. And everything he was reading was telling him you can eat this particular food. He was 24 when he moved away from his family, gave up all worldly possessions, dumped $24,000 into a non-profit charity. It's a true story, by the way. And he gave up all his cash. He burned it in a little pile, all his cash. And then he went out with a backpack on the road.
Yeah, he sounds like a real winner.
Well, he died in a year and a half from eating wild food that he was harvesting from some book some edible food guy was pitching. And it turns out he ate a plant that was one shade different than another. The lines of the plant went horizontal as opposed to vertical in the bead that he was eating. And he was trying to eat some sort of like a garden. It was absurd. If the lines go straight up in the air, he could eat it. And he found this out later, and he literally died.
Somebody found it out. Obviously, he didn't find it out.
No, he found it out. No, he wrote about it while he was dying.
He wrote about it while
the whole story about all the things he did in a year and a half. He documented everything, and his family published the story, and it became a major movie, and it's on Netflix. Oh, I'm so glad we loved each other so long tonight. 462's been enjoying the show and loving me a long time.
Oh, good.
From Korea. Thank you.
From wherever.
I'm just saying, the guy rejected all society and money and died a year and a half later of eating a poisonous food item. So trusting mushrooms, I'm sorry, no matter how good you are at going through the woods and looking through mushrooms, it can't be that good. You can make a mistake. Well, it was a good movie, even though I hated it. You ever had one of those movies you just hate? And it's a good movie in the end because it takes you on a journey through this poor guy's life of hell. He ended up in some abandoned bus in the middle of nowhere.
Why did
he died? I hate it because there's no positive ending. You expect the ending to be he gets out and he realizes, wow, it would have been better if he just become a stockbroker and had a girlfriend. But this guy had an opportunity to meet a beautiful woman, and they profiled that at the movie. And the woman was so sad because she really liked him. Mm-hmm. And he just walked away from a perfectly good romance.
Yeah.
Because he was afraid. And the last thing he said, now this is interesting, the last thing he wrote in his book was happiness must be shared. True happiness must be shared. And these are the words of a man who virtually died all alone. Realizing finally that he had taken himself to a very dark place.
Okay. Happiness must be shared. I do think that happiness must be shared. It's, one of those things, but who are you going to, I guess you have to choose who you share it with. Well, and David told me about this movie, and it sounds like, the guy basically, he had it all.
Yeah, his parents were wealthy. His parents were very wealthy. I got you.
He had everything, and then he decided he didn't want any of it. He wanted to go out on his own. Anyway, I didn't see this show, so glad I didn't. I don't know if he knows him in person. No, I didn't see the documentary Cropsey. What's that about? My braid looks like a lovely cluster of gathered chestnuts. I will say thank you. That's good. David has not been replaced. I am not his replacement. I'm just his support. I'm the woman. Yes, that's the movie Into the Wild, correct. That was a movie and a book. Into the Wild.
Into the Wild, thank you.
Yes, okay. Laura Ingalls. You're saying I look like Laura Ingalls? I'm sure. That's kind of cool. I'm going for that look. I always liked Laura Ingalls. That's who I wanted to be when I was younger, so I guess I'm there. Yeah, a romantic fool, I guess. Admirable? I don't know. I guess I have to see the movie if I want to say he was admirable. Oh, thanks, Antique. That's what I wanted to be, like her, but way hotter. Into the Wild sounds like a trip to Walmart. Yeah, it's just crazy. Now what do I want to be? Happy. I am happy. They're okay. Antique. Maybe not as nice as they were, but they're good. How so, 584? How so? Yeah. My life's very good. Oh, like Ugly Betty? No, they haven't really told me that. From the movie, not from the TV show. I could see how you think that. Yeah, but I kind of thought I looked like her a little bit, but that's okay. I'm the Caucasian version. Yerpy yerp. Aw, thanks for loving me. How so, 773? Christopher McNadlis. Okay, that's good. I didn't really watch the show or read the book. Yeah, I know. That's fine. What are you talking about, liar? Settle down. That's a good point. I should probably make more websites, but I feel like oh, well, I don't agree with David on that point of view, 773. Now, I would say, no, I would not have a baby for that money. But yeah, I should make websites. I've made some websites before. I feel like I need to know a little bit more, and I could know a little bit more. Yeah, that's not my website making. All right, hi Mad Dog, welcome back. Okay. You think I need PHP Nuke, WordPress, or PHP Fox? Well, maybe I need to learn PHP. How about that? I never got into WordPress, I have to say. I probably need to do a security update on my website. Charged up for what? Hi, Salty. No, I don't necessarily believe that there were actors or there's false flags going on. I'm not there, so I don't know what is going on at different locations. I only know what affects my little world, and so that's enough for me. Yeah, I don't really like it, though. No, I would not have a baby for 1 million. I know some people probably would, but I guess that's not something. I would love 1 million, but I guess I'm not willing to do that to get it. You saw a social channel that has credits at the end? Oh, they like play a video and they do their credits? No, I was not wearing a two-piece bikini. That's a good point, 507. And then you just have to stay up to date with it. But then the new one is a lot to learn, I guess. Because I mean, for some people it's plug and play. I guess a noob could do it, which I feel like I'm in between noob and things, but yeah, that's pretty much what I try to do, 507. Oh, you think trekkers like us and they want to be like us? Where's the man, woman? We'll be here soon. That could happen. You wish that we would stop our show? Well, that's not going to happen. But you don't have to watch us. Well, I would like to learn more programming. Okay, so the question is, Sarah, you should go in and do more website work. That was the question. And so I said, yes, I probably should go and do website work. However, I need to learn. I feel like I need to learn more in order to do better website work. There's been other questions that have, some people asked, would I have a baby for $1 million? Or at first they said $10,000. And I said, no, I will not have a baby for $10,000 or $1 million. I don't, that's not just one of the things. Some people are continuing the website conversation about, and they talk about WordPress. They mentioned a couple of PHP things, PHP Nuke, PHP Fox. And I've had a little experience with WordPress. I don't really like WordPress as a website design tool. It's just me. It's just a personal preference. Thank you. 467 says I should think of my audience, and whenever someone asks a question, I should repeat the question before I respond to it, which is a good point. And sometimes I don't do that when it's a chat show. So I should do that. So 507, who said I should use Drupal, said if I use PHP Fox, my site would explode with traffic. I wonder what is PHP Fox? Can I use it with Drupal, or is it a totally different CMS? See, those are the things that I haven't, I feel like I should know more about. Yabi thinks that you could use WordPress and use a child theme and custom CSS. And 507 says PHP Fox is a mix of MySpace, Facebook, and Twitter all in one. Yabi says Drupal is used for corporations and huge outfits, which I would like to be a huge outfit, which is kind of why I went with Drupal in the first place. No, one person talked again about the baby conversation. I understand that PHP is a programming language like Windows ASP. I could probably read PHP. However, I can't currently write in PHP. So that's one of the things that I feel like I need to know in order to be able to write in PHP. Well, it's not that I'm big yet. Yabi said, how big is your website? And you want a big website. How big are you? And sorry, I underestimated you. It's not that I'm big yet, but I would like to be big. I'd like to be, when I talk about America's Third Party, I'm talking about a major political move. And so, of course, that would be big. You have a website for it? Oh, wait, someone wrote a poem for me inspired by Dr. Seuss. Wait. Will our Sarah have a baby Dave? Will he be all the rave? No, she will not have a baby Dave. No, he will not be all the rave. Her green eggs reject his ham. She is not pregnant, Sam, I am. True. Okay, thank you, Master Meatball, for writing that poem. Yes, exactly. For America's newest big party, I'd like to be as big as the other political parties, so that's why I would like a bigger website. And okay. Politicians who want to be big are all the same, 299 thinks. Master Meatball loves writing in PHP and thinks I should probably learn PHP. I have my eyes set on learning Python right now, but And it just took you 3 months to learn PHP. And you now know MySQL. I do recommend people that are building websites and want to learn websites to go to W3 Schools to learn. Is that where you learned Master Meatball, or what do you recommend people that want to learn? How do I plan on making money with my website? I don't currently have a plan for making money with my website. But it's a possibility that I could make websites to make money. Oh, yes. W3 Schools is the best, I would say. And one of the things that kept me from doing PHP is it kind of suggests that you start with JavaScript, and I haven't yet mastered JavaScript. So then I was always hesitant to go forward with their PHP languages when I did not master JavaScript. And Yabi says PHP can be learned without knowing JavaScript. This is my problem. I want to learn everything. And that is C++. Or C+. C sharp? No. C++. Okay. And 467 says JavaScript and PHP go hand in hand. All of you that are talking about JavaScript and PHP, what do you think about Python? I would rather learn I guess one of the reasons I want to learn Python is just to be a little bit different, somewhat different, but also learn from that open courseware through MIT. No, a question came in, do I suspect David may have homosexual tendencies? No, I do not. David is a very much of a heterosexual person. He loves women. Oh, right. People that 247 says a lot of people do affiliate marketing stuff, can't even code.
Yeah, they're just working on the external area, and a lot of people just tweak the code.
Yes. Marcelo, you're from Brazil. So is Salty Dog. 2 Brazilian guests in here.
Yes. And one is losing his hair.
I need to learn HTML5. I know HTML, but HTML5. Bigolitis asks, do I know many of David's secrets?
All of my secrets. Everything.
I know all of David's secrets. And I would say you probably know most of David's secrets, because David really has a difficult time keeping secrets. Because he's so brutally honest, he's talks about everything.
I am heterosexual.
Yes, David is very heterosexual.
We have a censorship going on at the Vaughn Network. A lot of people have been trying to get into the show. We could have over 5,000 viewers a night, easily. But Vaughn has decided to cap the viewers at around 89 tonight. It's all arbitrary. Every night it's a different number, but it's not something that we're happy with. We're waiting for blogtv.ca to open up so we can have a different venue, an alternative, but we'll still keep this chat room, but we'll have 2 chat rooms.
4 different chat rooms currently.
Pretty soon we'll be in 4 different chat rooms, and they'll all be as active as this one. So because
it's really about action.
Because I read 6,000 words a minute, I'm able to track a lot of chat, and I can pretty much pick up on large groups of information and then hone in on specifics when you guys have something really important to bring up. David would not be able to keep the 28 pages covered up by nature. I believe that I actually side with the director of the CIA on this one, Brennan. I believe that bringing up the 28 pages will lead nowhere because they haven't been vetted. But I will actually honor whatever decision is made at that level. But we want to open up a separate investigation of 911, an independent investigation.
Also, I think David goes with, hey, the more that you make available to the American people, as long as it doesn't violate national security, make it available to the American people, because the American people can vet it. I mean,
right.
You know, what's better, having one or two special forces vet something, or having 1 million people access to vetting it?
Well, exactly. We can't vet it, though. The point is, it can't be verified with the Saudi Arabian Emirates, and those people haven't been able to verify these stories. So it hasn't even gone through proper channels, is what Brennan was saying. And opening up a 28-page can of worms with a trading partner who offers us 18% of our petroleum imported in our nation is mental and economic suicide for our nation. We would be shooting ourselves in the foot, because we would be undermining a potential trading partner which could very well keep our prices on our fuel low. That's not to say we're in any way hiding a perpetrator, because I think the real issue for all of you 28-pagers is 9/11 really an inside job? And Donald Trump won't admit to the possibility that it is an inside job, and that's an important thing. I'm not really skimming anything. It's 600 words per minute. Thank you. That's nice of you. It's 6,000 words per minute, John. But thanks for clarifying. Okay, well, good. We solved that problem. I just can't see, if we want to talk about it as an open subject,
right?
Let's make sure that the CIA signs off on it.
Yeah.
Let's get them on the same table.
Well, of course, you would be reading anything that you release to the public.
Yeah, but I mean, I want them to sign off on it. You know, I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant to jeopardize a relationship with Saudi Arabia than Barack Obama has been. And
right.
It's very clear at one point he was actually almost kissing the ring of King Abdullah.
Well, and then he not only has jeopardized that relationship, but he's jeopardized the relationship with other world leaders as well.
Yeah, he really has. He starts problems with his ego. He's pushed his ego ahead of the real issue. He's thrown America under the bus on Russia.
David's talking about signing off on releasing the 28-page document that has been sealed that refers to 9/11, by the way, to catch people up.
Yeah, we're just talking about that because, like I said, Trump immediately stopped discussing it when Brennan made that statement. And he hasn't discussed it since. It's pissed off a lot of Trump supporters. Mm. But what I'm saying is it's simply not good business to start throwing weapons of accusation toward a country like Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely. Well, what if there was a caveat in the release that says, you know, basically we release this information, but no one can be sued as a result of this information, like it can't be submitted in court.
Right, but it could still destabilize world politics, and that's kind of what people thought what Edward Snowden was up to. Mm. By releasing all this weird and strange information, many people thought he was trying to create a storm of controversy with other world leaders. So I believe Edward Snowden may have been a plant, may have been a disinformation plant by our own government. I find it hard to believe that the NSA would release top secret information to a guy without a high school diploma who's that close to the top secrets of the country, and then they wouldn't even pursue him in Moscow. Now, we know that our government has agents in Moscow that could easily terminate this espionage agent named Edward Snowden.
Or capture him.
Well, or terminate him. He is committing an act of espionage. Technically, we have the ability to terminate him and kill him because of his violation, his treasonous act. So we haven't done that. So that means to me that there's a reason why Edward Snowden's still alive. He's probably just a shill for the NSA. They're probably feeding fake information to Russia. It's the only logical explanation. I'm not a neocon, no. In fact, I don't side with Israel and the Zionist takeover of the world. But I'm looking out for your best interest, 4608. I'm looking out for your rights and your freedoms and your ability to drive freely on the highways without having to worry about a gas shortage. Because frankly, screwing with Saudi Arabian relationship at this point, even beyond what Bush had obviously cultivated, and we all know that the story goes deep on 9/11. But it's very possible that Saudi Arabia, to get to the nitty-gritty here, Saudi Arabia may very well know, much like Israel, what happened prior to it happening. That's an interesting picture. If this government was complicit in an inside job, for instance, it would stand to reason that the top levels of Mossad and the NSA would have all communicated publicly. Or, excuse me, privately.
Yes, it is free to make an account. I encourage everybody to make an account here. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so I turned the cooking down. I set the timer, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that's my take on the whole thing. I really believe that we need to preserve the relationship ahead of the reality that a lot of these conspiracy theories could very well undermine relations with countries like Saudi Arabia. And these conspiracy theories that could very well be true on Truth Tuesday could very well ruin it for a lot of us in terms of our personal lives. So let's be very careful in accusing a country like Saudi Arabia before we know the whole picture. I argue it's an even deeper inside job here in America. And I've been saying that since it happened. I actually told Sarah when we got back from 9/11, from the day we arrived, 5 days prior, we had been in New York on a cross-country trip from the East Coast. And 6 days later, we were here. We opened up our TV sets and we were shocked to see that happening. And I said to Sarah, the only organized group of people that could have pulled this off is Mossad. And a lot of experts believe that the only group that could have pulled this off, this is not some renegade terrorist act because of the nature of what happened. The Pentagon being breached by what appears to be a missile, not a plane. So the plane story doesn't fly. The Building 7 going down on its own, even though it wasn't hit, doesn't fly. Technically, it can't happen. You can't burn a building down of that stature. And architects from around the world have confirmed this. Without a doubt, over 10,000 architects have signed off on the 9/11 event being some sort of a fake demolition. I mean, and then there are those people that believe that the planes were actually CGI'd into the picture.
David said he always supports Israel as an ally to the U.S., and David supports that.
No, I'm not in any way related to the Bush family, and I hated George W. Bush in terms of his presidential leadership, putting us in 2 wars. I really did. But the New World Order obviously was working through the Bush family. And these are the henchmen of what this global elitist group is trying to do. Now, you put a person who's completely untethered to the secret societies in charge of a nation like ours, and you have a chance at getting this back on its feet. You got a chance to rectify a sagging economy which is suffering in so many different ways. Not only is our service economy something we can go back on, we can build it. And that's why this legalization plan is so strong. We could actually create legal marijuana across the nation and everyone could start becoming an active seller. As long as you pay a tax, there's no penalty. But if you give it to people, there would be, under the circumstances, there would be a penalty. There would be no penalty for giving it to people, but if you were to sell it to them and not pay the tax, that's when the penalty occurs. So you could hand it away, you could give it to as juicing agents, or you could just donate it to your local composter or the national composting plan we have to bring in hempoline, which is a form of fuel, as well as all the other derivatives of marijuana, which could very well fuel our economy. Hey, I'm really looking at this as a viable way to kind of inject some new activity into our service economy. So that's a good thing, and it helps build the renewable energy base that we need to stand up against a potential problem with a country like Saudi Arabia, making us stronger, able to respond to that. But right now, we don't have the infrastructure. We need to be supporting our Bakken fields right now in North Dakota with a little bit of government stimulus. And the reason I'm saying it is we need to carry our oil operations forward simply from a strategic point of view. And it's just as valuable to us to do that as it is to actually have a military operation in Syria. I'd rather give the people of North Dakota $1 billion right now than the Syrian rebels to fight some nonsensical enemy we claim is this horrible demon, yet there's no proof. So there's a lot of reasons our country is being misled in the wrong directions. We need to focus on certain established, productive cycles that are guaranteed. And that would definitely be our own oil supply and our renewable fuel supply. So these are the focus points that we need to move on right now. I'm referring to the global elitists, not people of Israel when I refer to the word Zionist. Zionist original definition was people who wanted to form a state of Israel. Now I'm fast forwarding to the present time, and now we are dealing with people trying to control the world, not just Israel. Israel has a state, has a legitimate state, exists. We have to acknowledge that. If we go against that, we're going to be facing nuclear conflagration, because everyone knows that they probably have a nuclear weapon, and they even have a doomsday weapon. So it's a wasted discussion to be anti-Israel. It really is. But to be an Israel apologist, or a Zionist, or somebody who wants even global takeover, no. We need to stand against that right now. And I think Donald's already been compromised. I think he's taken money from AIPAC. I think he's already talked to Henry Kissinger. I mean, the whole thing is like, oh, there's no way Donald would represent the American people at this point. He's gone.
We have another question.
Sure.
Do you accept peak oil theory, or do you think it's a liberal conspiracy?
I don't think it's a liberal conspiracy. I think there's a lot of people who are concerned about the uptake of oil and how much there is relative to the population. That's why those same people often talk about depopulation. But I believe that's been hijacked by their global agenda. Again, we're going back to the elitists that want depopulation. They want to believe that we have a scarcity of oil. But realistically, the earth is a boiling refinery. We know that there's a cauldron of magma in there that is burning away and pulling carbon out of every rock substructure and melting it into this thing we call oil. It's not coming from the dinosaurs. So even our geologists need to realize that oil too is a renewable resource. We shouldn't forget that. The big question is, will we be able to clean the atmosphere in time to prevent our species from being extinguished? That's the big thing. And right now they're not moving in any direction to clean the atmosphere.
I haven't heard of the abiotic. Oh, yeah. It's not dinosaurs, it's algae. And not just algae. Oil is not just algae, but all kinds of carbon-based structures. And there has been some really good, with the carbon sequestration, actually putting carbon back into the ground.
Yeah.
That's been shown to be pretty effective. Because basically it's carbon gets into the ground and it gets that pressure from the surrounding soil, from the ground, that causes it to liquefy.
Yeah, we can recarbonize and bring, in fact, a lot of all of this soot could be grabbed in various cyclonic filter systems in areas like the Tehachapi Range, the mountain range in California. Very narrow mountain range that acts like a vortex to bring in air. We can actually filter air there. So we have to get busy to create the filtration systems to clean the air. Otherwise, this is the future. We will be the walking dead. And I don't mean this will be prophecy. And the real problem is, how fast are they, the real problem is, why are they polluting the air right now so rapidly with chemtrails? That's the number one issue, I believe.
So Walter believes that with the depopulation will be back to 2 billion people by 2100.
Well, only if they try to kill off the planet rapidly. If their plan is to kill off the planet, which I believe it is, this plan has been implemented rapidly in the past 2 or 3 decades. And now their goal is to completely pollute the sky and make it unlivable for mankind. Killing off crops. What these elitists are trying to do is do a flash kill of the human species. And we've identified this as a trend. I believe geoengineeringwatch.org has discussed this. I don't know, if you believe they're hiding the burrow, that's fine, but I still believe they're covering up a very evil plan to pollute the earth.
He thinks fossil fuel depletion will cause the depopulation.
I don't believe that. These people can cut off the intake of fossil fuel. They can create energy shortages anywhere. It's all manipulated. We could easily, if their plan is war, that is part of depopulation. If their plan is occupation and destruction, that's another plan for depopulation. If their plan is to microwave the face of the earth, that is a plan of depopulation. They could come out from underground subterranean facilities with hundreds of thousands of soldiers that could occupy the existing empty UN Humvees and Amtraks that are sitting around our country right now, after they microwave the entire population. That is possible. And the reason I say this is that it is possible. And if you look at Murphy's Law, if anything's possible, it's going to happen. You've got to prepare for that. We have to have limiters on all of our wireless communication systems so that there's maximum levels of energy that can be reached, and then the solenoids break. We have to put in safeguards. because this technology is available to some of these ultra elite people, and they could virtually kill off large portions of people. Now, I started this show talking about this situation in Mecca. In 2015, 2,236 people were in a stampede, and the media announced it as 800, 700. The numbers are all over the place. But there's evidence that this attack in Mecca may have been a plasma beam and a tested microwave weapon. And I brought this up because I think it's the wildest, weirdest thought ever, but that they would even have this microwave weapon. But let me pull up a picture for you.
Oh, right. Yeah, nuclear, I like the idea of a fast breeder nuclear reactor. Someone in the chat room said they like nuclear.
Yeah, I like pebble reactors. They're really amazing. There's a pebble reactor system in development right now. I believe Japan is working on it, where they could create, they're like balls are in a pool game. They're like 8 balls roaming around, or cue balls, with 9 grams of uranium in each one, and they can't melt down. They can't ignite. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I don't think I have the video. It didn't make sense to me. Yeah. It didn't make sense to me that they would be all dying from a stampede. But I guess if you look at a large group of people like this is where it happened. There's some people that believe a plasma beam was involved in the death of these people. And I'm just saying this is pretty far-fetched, I realize, but there's a lot of people there. You could see how 2,000 people could run into each other, but it's almost unbelievable, when you hear about these numbers. Well, I can't prove it, no. And I just soon change the subject, because what I really wanted you to go on was a journey into the possibilities that the microwave systems could be used against the human population. And I argue that these microwave systems don't need to be as big as they are. And a lot of people on the internet are waking up to this possibility that these things are huge. And we don't need those that huge to do what we need to do in terms of communications. So many people are getting really, really worried that, we're living in like a zap central area, no matter where you are in the world. If the wrong people have their fingers on the button, they could do this. So without any accountability, with nothing but fakery in the media, with constant lies, anything's possible. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'll pass the phone off. There you go.
Hello. How are you?
So I'm just pontificating on the possibilities.
Good.
That, we are really in a very iffy situation. Without accountability, without a third party, we are kind of stuck there in the hands, the clutches of the elitists. They control what we do. We're like the little people that they can move around. Well, we'll just take this sector and move it. In fact, in the 1980s, they did biodiversity studies at the UN, and they found out that large groups of people could be affected by biological weapons, pandemics. So these are all in their actual studies. They've done this. So I'm just saying, with that kind of wattage going into these towers, we absolutely need a crew of top-notch electricians to inspect these facilities. At the very least, let's do that. That's the starting point of my presidency. We will inspect those facilities. Same with a group of people who can study the fluoridation of our municipal water system and oversee it virtually, making sure that every single facility is cleaned of fluoride, opening up our minds to new ideas, to sharing. Our mind is not a shackle. We are free to explore any thought you want on this show. This is an interactive virtual chat show. I come on the show not because I want to necessarily. I'm here every night because I have to be. I don't know if any of you understand what duty is. If someone else was filling these shoes on a nightly basis, talking to you, I would welcome that person. But no one has the ability to withstand all alienation or aggression or any type of hate that we get on a nightly basis. But I've actually seen a bigger picture, and I've been motivated by it, by principles. And because of that, I do the show. If you're wondering why I'm doing it, it's not because I love every single second of the show. It's because I have to do this. I need to fill these shoes. In case you were wondering, a lot of you don't know what makes me tick. Now you do. But yeah, I'm a little bit freaked out by that stuff because there's been a couple guys online that have been running shows, pretty good shows too. Okay, we got a weird show tonight called ISIS in America, Shocking, See the Truth. I don't know what this is. It could be propaganda. I don't even know. But we'll play that video for you tonight. We've got a couple other things in the lineup. This is the moment the Turkey suicide bomber got shot and then explodes himself, so you can check this for credibility. I'm going to try to mute it for you. Oh. Sometimes they freeze on these live leaks. You have to refresh the screen. We're just vetting everything, you know. This isn't we're not pinning anything down. What I do know, and I think we can all agree on, is we're being lied to. That's the best way to describe this common union of people who are average Americans who come into this show and go, yeah, we're being lied to. Everything's fake at this point. It's just that the lack of evidence. I was looking for blood. Intuitively, I'm always looking for that. You'd see blood from gunshot wound. There's no splatter at all. Hola. Buenos dias. We've got a situation here where, you know, there's a loss of credibility right there. And then it goes on but I like the blast scene. That was pretty credible. I'm pretty sure people died in this event. Yeah, but we're probably, you know, dealing with a number issue, you know. They clearly shot the terrorist and he blew up, yeah. The chunks of the terrorist body being, yeah, it got a little bit more real, didn't it? You know, if it's not happening to you, it almost seems surreal. But a lot of people died at the airport. Wow. See, I almost think that we're kind of the bridge between real and surreal on this show. Because we've got a lot of people who believe it was surreal, and there was a script and actors, no terrorism. Truffle butter. Thank you, Truffle. Yeah, but innocent cats it's always a loss of life. But this is the thing. Let's be totally real here. We are living in a world where we're all insulated from real violence, unless it happens to you. So we're kind of assessing a situation from a playland, from Disneyland. It's like being in Disneyland versus being in the streets of Compton. You know, it's a whole different scene, man. If you haven't been in the streets of Compton, you don't know what it's like to be, you know. Disneyland is Disneyland. It's a safe place. I've walked the streets of Compton. I know how it is. It's not exactly safe, especially for a guy who's 6'4" and white. I was in the LA riot period in Los Angeles, and it was an absolutely frightening experience. So when you're experiencing real life experience right in front of you, violence, yeah, it gets real. Even in my hometown, just about a month ago, some vagrants rolled into town and decided to beat people up at a bus stop. Didn't hear about it in the news either, which is weird. I was expecting to see a story about it in the newspaper. They didn't even cover it. It's like people sitting on a bus stop all of a sudden getting curbed, their elbows, their necks, their collarbones by a bunch of wild, freaked out meth heads. I mean, seriously? That's what I'm talking about. Jackson 69, good evening. I hear about things through just talking to people. I talk to almost everybody wherever I go. They go, there goes David Jingleheimer Schmidt. Wherever I shall go. I discuss things in the area about, you know, what's happening. I try to stay in touch with what's going on. I kind of feel the pulse of the people. I'll walk into Home Depot and talk to some people. Sure. It's called conversing with people. Have you ever tried it? Oh, that's right. You're watching me talk to you, a screen. Well, this is where I excel. I'm good at talking. You can see that, right? Okay, there you have it. An RPG 7, you're saying, would take out the guy before he actually hurts others. And there's this lot of group here that really wants to fight terrorism. I can feel that. Yeah, I like that. Well, yes, you can go into any Home Depot and discuss matters with people. Warning, vaccine refusal from asks parents to admit to endangering their child. Whoa. This is exactly a slippery slope that Hillary would put us on, and I won't do this. No forced vaccinations with me. I will not force vaccinations or force RFID on the population, I promise you. I am just acting according to my conscience on all levels. I would never do that to anybody, and I understand how difficult an issue it is. Some of you think we could herd inoculate. Have you heard of herd inoculation? It's a new buzzword in the libtard sector. They want to do herd inoculation because they don't want people who have autoimmune disease to face any danger in the general population. I mean, this is about thinking collectively for the collective. Oh, what if any one of us has auto? Oh, then we must be concerned. So they want to herd inoculate. So this would be the warning. Vaccine refusal form asks parents to admit to endangering their child's life by not doing vaccinations. This is unbelievable. Okay, I see it. I don't walk around Home Depot with my glasses on. If I did, people would think, well, dude, are you like high or something? So I feel much more at ease to do it in my show. But thank you so much. Okay. I was thinking of putting one of those metal cages around my meter. Have you seen the videos? Have you guys seen the videos that they create a Faraday cage around your smart meter outside? I'm actually thinking of doing that pretty soon, like tomorrow. I've got some aluminum screening in the back. I'm going to cut a circle around it and then put a patch over it. And people told me in the room last night it doesn't in any way interfere with the Wi-Fi connection that they have. But it defrays the RF signal, which is beaming around that unit and causing problems. Yeah, so I'm thinking of a Faraday cage going around that circular glass thing that they put over there. What are they going to do? Stop me? That's my property. I'm not in any way impairing its functionality. It is visible in my security cameraman. Okay, good to know. Let's play the video. I just can't believe the libtard Marxist Hillary supporters.
Our position on vaccinations. We already did a 2+ hour presentation on all of the
Okay, this will be another good one for our show tonight. So we got 2 good ones coming up at the bottom of the hour. Yeah, it's been kind of a jet travel day. We are in the middle of a naval air station, so we get a lot of jet travel over our property now, more so than ever. And I still love the beauty. I live in the most beautiful area with water and the ocean.
All the lies we were told about that, how people are.
And I'm taking a big trade-off here, living around the jets. And I've been told by epidemiologists that truly the entire population is in danger of strokes and all kinds of things. The jets create this buzz that goes right through even buildings. Well, I could, but I mean, I've done other things like putting double roofs on my. It's not a trailer, but thank you. And I'm doing everything I can. I added a double layer of roofing and put a sound buffer in between. Yeah, I put a double layer of roofing and a sound buffer in between. Yeah. Have 3 or 4 imams in all airports. Really. Well, you're onto something, Dr. Meow. Rationally, have you ever walked up rationally to a terrorist and tried that? It would be interesting to try it out. The problem with terrorism is you have no warning. You see, we have to be 100% perfect running a government and a military and engagements around the world, we have to be 100% perfect. But a terrorist, all they have to do is make one mistake, and it's a win for them. They find one little weakness, and it's a win for them. So it's a big effort to kind of keep a person like that under control. I still support the safe zone idea that I came up with in 2008, which now Donald Trump is stealing. Yeah, it's the weapons-free safe zone idea. I think it's the strongest way to deal with populated regions, preventing people from getting near who could be terrorists like that. We really don't have a good safety net over our country yet. We need a stronger defensive barrier. That's why I was supporting the 1,000-mile fence as well. That was my idea in 2008. But that alone is the beginning. We have to also phase out the TSA because they're unnecessary. We're paying for U.S. military personnel right now. 2 million U.S. military are paid on the force. They could easily be, a portion of them could be tasked in our airports and save on the cost of the TSA and pass that savings on to you, the consumer. So people flying will be more likely to fly. By the way, the cost of food is kind of driving other industries into almost a discount sector. So people are trying to compensate by not flying. So there's a discount challenge going on among the airlines to try to offer better discounts. So the economy is flexing from the cost of food. I will give it that. It definitely is flexing. Good evening. Really? In your city, the TSA couldn't pass the do you smoke blunts test. So Charles Foster Kane says the TSA, or they're sitting there high going, hey, come over here, I want to look at your body with a low-level radiation system. Hey, let me grab your junk too, dude. I can't believe these people actually do this. I don't fly. I refuse. I'm sorry, I just don't fly. I haven't flown since 9/11. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm up in a plane in jeopardy, because there are dangerous problems with planes. I mean, missing planes like the Egyptian airliner, that Airbus that recently crashed in the middle of the Mediterranean, the MH370, the other flight, the MH17 that went down over Russia or Ukraine. I mean, all these flights are just absolutely, you wonder how these things are happening. And we have had no answers from the NTSB or from Interpol or any other agency. The flight that went into the Austrian slopes, to this day, there is no audio recording of that pilot being locked out of the cockpit by the co-pilot. There is no audio confirmation. What is his law? Yeah. Well, I'll be flying, but I'll be using a Faraday cage over the actual, what is called the QSR-11 chip. The QSR-11 chip is the chip in the computer navigation system that needs to be completely shielded. That will give it complete control back to the individual pilot and the auto navigation system on board. This chip is crucial in the navigation hijacking of any plane, and we have to be aware of that. It's very dangerous. That's why I don't take flights. Well, like I said, I would only do that in Air Force One. So, you couldn't fly me to New York City. You couldn't pay me $1 million right now and fly me to New York City. I wouldn't even take the money. I'd say I can go by car, I can go by a land vehicle, even a railroad. But I'm a little concerned about the flight. Railroad is a little iffy too. Anyway, that's me. That's what I do. And this is you. And you can listen to me dance and do a little jig here. So we started out doing our late night shows with an endless format. We've got self-running generators with hydrogen gas for power and heating. No one can stop you. Bob, you're set, man. Bob, you're like a survivalist. It's amazing. You came in here and talked about your story. You have a motorhome, I believe. You got or a fifth wheel, one or the other. And you're ready to go. You're out there on the highway, ready to act in the event of a disaster. Good for you, man. We got a lot of preppers in here, that's for sure. I like my trash can size car, thank you. I get nearly 60 miles per gallon. I can go 500 miles on one tank of gas. Because I can't stop. We're just going to keep going and going until we, I guess since we're going downhill, we might as well enjoy the ride. Because we can't stop.
And we won't stop. We're going to dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop.
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's third party.
Sponheim for president. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop.
First we hit 'em low, then we hit 'em high. Underrated, but we made it to the finish line. Rhymes designed to combine and intertwine. Spring, winter, summer, fall, even winter time. Beats banging harder, been head on collisions. We make incisions with precision and quick decisions, causing double visions. If you ain't up to speed, you need to speed it up, partner. Piano read.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop.
In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's third party.
We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop. We can't stop.
I was kidnapped in 1999. During the Clinton administration, my stepdad was the supervisor of logistics. For 2 years, I was tortured prior to 9/11. They killed so many people. There were so many bodies. They trafficked so many drugs, so many weapons.
Okay, so what is your name?
My name is Jasmine Tierra Evans.
Jasmine Tierra Evans, and I overheard you talking about a story that, a personal testimony of yours. Can you just describe what, maybe basically from the beginning, what happened? You said you got kidnapped.
I got kidnapped in 1999. It was within 5 months of my mom meeting my stepdad. They had met at the Pentagon. My mother was over the Ballistics Missiles Defense Organization. She had an agenda that year that she was over to rewrite for the federal government. And she also had a contract with the Treasury Department. My stepdad had a declassified position that was at the White House that I wasn't allowed to know about, but his position was the supervisor of logistics. Within 5 months of my mom meeting my stepdad, this was during the Clinton administration, I get kidnapped.
And who kidnapped you?
I don't know who he was. He looked like president, like a mix between President Barack Obama and Jay-Z.
So he was a black guy?
He was definitely a black gentleman. He had a New York City police badge.
And where did he kidnap you?
He kidnapped me from my house. He called my house. He said I had 10 seconds to come outside or he was going to kill Master Sergeant Marconi, which was my mother. So I went outside in his car. There he took me to Delaware. When he took me to Delaware, he took me to this wooded area of Delaware where he drove for like 15 minutes in the woods.
I got to break in here for just a second here. This is, I mean, I don't know if any of you are captured by the reality of her statement. Are any of you feeling the intensity of this young lady? Do you think she's just making this up? Is she lying? Yeah. It sounded a little like she'd been brainwashed. Well, I'm feeling the intense realness of it. She's real as you know what, yeah. And you're not getting that, Bob? You're seeing some sort of a deception here? She sounds real to me, yeah, totally. So that being the case, she's talking about some pretty intense stuff. Well, her tone is one of repeat. She's talked about this story a few times. I can see that. Yeah, I feel as though it's real too, yeah. Sounds real to me too, Scissorfight, yeah. And you should start an aquaponics system now, Nero, yeah. Let me see if I can pull up our aquaponics tutorial from Cleveland. We've got an entire 15-minute video about a great aquaponics thing. Thank you. Aquaponics. Aquaponics is a big thing that could actually help our environment. We actually could grow fish in seawater swills as well as freshwater swills. The ideas that we have with our ocean pipeline idea is one way to deploy this, and we believe that the passive desalination is one of the truest, most guaranteed ways of creating fresh water. And it's completely no fossil fuel involved in this at all. But the crying, getting back to her, the crying, talking about another subject now. I will queue up a video for an aquaponics though. The crying episode that she just encountered was real. I felt the passion of the introduction of this video. And then what happens toward the end of this video, and you'll see this video in total in a few minutes, you'll see how she breaks down and talks about weird connections between the dates of 9/11 and her parents, and she's making numerical connections, which sounds completely schizophrenic. So at the end of this video, she will begin to go off in it. Now, there's two possibilities. One, she's completely nuts. Or two, she's telling the truth and she's nuts. Okay? There is a possibility she's telling the truth and she's going nuts. But this woman, Jasmine Sierra Evans, is not found on the internet. You can't find her anymore. Somebody said that she has a Twitter account, but I have not found it. And I know people who have tried to find her. She's gone. They may have made her nuts. Yeah, thank you, Bob. So that is probably the truest assessment of this woman, that she's kind of gone nuts in the process of being abducted as a child and used in a kidnapping extortion ring to hide the evidence of 9/11, which is an amazing story if you really believe what she's saying. She even goes on to talk about how she was one of the voices on the Flight 93 passenger audio tape, that she was told to record the voice as one of the scared passengers to make a fake tape to release to the press. All right, so that's a possibility. Did Sarah shut guest chat off? Or no, we got guest chat in here. Good. Okay. I don't believe her 100%. Like I said, at the very end, she completely loses it, but there is the possibility that she could be telling the truth. That indeed the person who has this truth in their minds somehow believes what they're saying, and perhaps the programming is so intense that she could be brainwashed to believe that her parents were secret agents of the government and controlled. See, the matrix could be altered at any time, creating the illusion. So how do you know these people aren't just victims of brainwashing? Or were they really, truly speaking out? I think the woman speaks out the truth. I really do. But you can believe whatever you want, coming up in 6 minutes. Now let's field questions for the country and the future. Let's talk about how you think the country can get better. Discuss how do we move on beyond the reality that we've got corruption in our government. That's the biggest challenge I face every day, knowing that you can post a link to this video in chat, yes. Please do. Oh, can you please? Oh, of course, yeah. Here we go. We can also talk about anything that comes to mind. I could further expound upon this video as well, this idea, Ocean Pipeline Project. What we want to do is create an ocean pipeline along the coastline of California. And I'll get you a link to the video as soon as it plays. We want to create a link from like Solvang to San Jose, something that would provide water, fresh water to the arid area, the dehydrated area of the desert-like area of the Salad Bowl of California. And it's become such a dehydrated area that we were losing almond trees and walnut trees. Oh yeah, we're losing all kinds of really good, valuable crops that have been developed for years. So a unit like this, laid out over a distance with a reservoir, running on wind power and solar energy, typically would cost about $20,000. Very affordable. It includes 12 modules. Each module is 11 by 7 feet, or 7 by 11, 7 feet wide by 11 feet long. And this is a kind of a solution that would provide enough water for 4 families, for instance. That's just for starters. Yep, so creating fresh water is really the key to solving the crisis in California and also the crisis around the world. And the truth is, if we have more water, we'll have a lot more food. And if we have more food, we'll be able to sustain a population for a longer period of time. And if we have more food and a population, we'll also have peace and prosperity together. So that's kind of the concept that we're pushing with the seawater pipeline. And the cost of the water should be cheap. The exact opposite of what you'd hear from elitists that want to control the future of the world and all of its resources, who are burying themselves underground right now in preparation for a takedown of our population, which we've talked about for a long time. And it would waste your time talking about the inevitable place that all of us will end up because we don't have any political power. So these modules will be set up to be delivered to communities once we get this thing rolling. And we can connect the dots from module to module and keep every reservoir a solution for at least 4 families. Absolutely. What we could do with the radiation is put in electrostatic magnetic filters that will actually pull radiated water aside and neutralize it, leaving the molecule of hydrogen and oxygen unaffected. But the isotopic hydrogen must be evacuated, and that means we have to have a closed system. And it's going to be a lot of technological development to get the anti-radiation system in place, unless they already have it. That's a possibility. I know you honestly don't believe simple condensation can make a dent, but you're not thinking about the big picture. Are you the kind of person that would be willing to buy a resin share and put it in your backyard for no reason and no one would sit in it? I mean, there's an industry out there that's making resin shares that people don't sit in. A typical resin share is used at weddings, but I mean, they're horrible. So wouldn't you rather have Dow Chemical and their plant down in Houston or Dallas? I think it's Houston. Make something more flexible and purposeful, like a polycarbonate ocean pipeline dome? I mean, think about it. If we're going to kill the atmosphere, why don't we make something that's durable, it'll last 50 years? Do you want these resin shares to last 50 years? Well, guess what? They're going to last 20 or 2,000 years. They're slated to last 2,000 years. That's how old the pipeline could be. We could make these things completely durable and withstanding with fairly good thickness. Being a genius, I don't really care if I'm educated. It's irrelevant to me. Having zero experience in engineering is not a deficit, it's actually an asset. What have our engineers constructed to solve the problem in California? Anything? Any of you brilliant engineers in the room have any good ideas? I didn't think so. Of course I'm a genius. I wouldn't come to the show without these ideas. I recommend a zero water filter.
This white man speaks in riddles. I must tell you, Kimosabe, I am not pure white man. I come from the Algonquin Indian tribe. My ancestors are speaking through me. You speak of resin chairs. I speak of ocean pipeline.
What have I ignored? I haven't read your chat. David, I could see Mrs. Evans' face. I was thinking I was misheard my name at Tierra. Okay, and found this. Oh, Jasmine Evans, arrest records. Thank you, something special. We have something now, folks. We have Jasmine Evans was arrested. Thank you very much, something special. You are something special. Boy, look at that. Do you see how he did that? This is Jasmine Sierra Evans' criminal record from Hillsborough County. She had a bond of $2,500. I do believe that's her. Okay, so you pulled up a criminal report on her for battery. Well, you did a little deep digging. Thank you. All right, maybe she was fighting for her life. Well, thank you very much. But that still doesn't tell us if Jasmine Sierra Evans, and thank you, Tierra Evans, thank you for correcting it, is out there. She could even be in the system. She could be locked up with something. Is it wrong girl? Hang on, let's check it out. Hang on, man. Oh, you're right. How could that be? I don't know, man. Well, this is 05. This entire arrest was 05. Maybe the gap widened. Y'all know that things happen like that, right? This is Truth Tuesday, not Taco Tuesday. You missed out. You didn't get the truth. All right. Well, this isn't like some sort of a catechism. I'm not offering a Eucharist or anything for you to munch on. Just food for thought. That's all. Yeah. Well, this has been wild, man. I almost feel like I want to join you in your watching of the videos, which you'll be doing tonight. I would never give up, no. You have no idea what I'm doing, do you? Wow. 165 is of the belief that I should give up or something. That's so sad. You don't know what true principled missions are in life, do you? You probably watched the Blues Brothers and went, oh yeah, what are they doing, man? They don't even know. We are on a mission. You understand me? We don't give up. We're just getting started. Thank you. Truth Tuesday, only if you stop talking, Dave. I only stop talking for people who deserve it. Anyone who grabs my attention. All right, so we have a possible ID, and we have a name. And wait, we just don't know if she's alive. So we'll get to that video in just a second, as promised. Thank you for listening to our little show about ocean pipeline solutions for the country. It is my idea. It is not Donald Trump's. When he talks about an ocean dome, he's simply stealing our idea, which we've had for 10 years. I don't sue anybody at this point. I'm just trying to spread the good word and the gospel. Some people would be saying, I'm so happy that others are using these ideas to profit politically. I'm so glad, but I'm actually trying to build up enough clout to save the nation. The last thing I need is somebody who can't implement ideas because he doesn't have the brain power to make decisions quick enough to be in my way. I'm a steamroller, and I'm rolling so fast, anyone who virtually tries to step in the pathway of America's third party will wonder what the heck just happened. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying we got 160 people right now in a small village in Japan watching us. Hello. And I can't be stopped. You see, I'm not doing anything wrong, number one. I'm only raising the bar of awareness, number two. And number three, I have a command over the English language that seems to be motivating a lot of you to come in and watch me, which is kind of interesting. I didn't intend to be this articulate in my life. I just simply learned it. I acquired it from the programming, the Matrix. Mr. Anderson. Okay, this has been great fun, everybody. Thanks so much for coming in. It's been a long day. Yeah, a lot of things going on this morning. Sarah and I had to do a bunch of stuff. You speak the truth. Well, I'll end with a little tribute to my Algonquin ancestry. Thank you, Bob. You're twittering? Oh yeah, I bet. Thank you. Keep it up. Keep pushing our name out there, all you haters. You really don't know what you're up to, do you? You have no idea. We have a lot of people who just don't get it, folks. They don't even realize they're so sublime and idiotic. They don't even realize that the more they hate us, the more it promotes me. They don't get that. It's absurd, isn't it? I mean, it's a simple thought that the more you hate me, the more you promote me.
Yes, may I please speak to someone that's actually in the office right now?
Well, we're on air right now, so the meteorologist is not available, and the news director, you would probably have to leave a message.
Yeah, I called you guys today. I was told to call back at 4 o'clock. I mean, this is ridiculous that I'm unable to get a hold of any live human.
Wait a minute. I don't know who you called to talk to, so I don't know what the situation is.
Yeah.
You can tell me what you called to talk
Okay. I called you guys several times today about airplane pollution, and I said that, I needed to speak with a meteorologist or the news director. I was sent to an answering machine. I called back just like how I have now, and was told that everybody was in a meeting and that they would be out at 4 o'clock and for me to call after 4.
What were you calling about again?
The heinous airplane pollution that has been corroding the sky all day long. Airplanes doing circles, have no flight path at all, intentionally spraying stuff into the atmosphere. I've documented it all day long. It has been the most heinous airplane pollution I've witnessed.
What area are you in?
I'm in Virginia Beach, Kempsville area.
Kempsville?
Right. But it wouldn't matter if I was, I live at Oceana. I see it every day. But today was exceptionally horrific.
Okay, what is your name?
Amanda Bays, B-A-I-S-E.
It's not long enough. We're not really Melbourne, Wednesday morning.
Look out your window and see what's going on.
There was some.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to email the meteorologist and see if he can tell me what it is.
He's going to tell me it's contrails, but,
all I can do is ask him what it is, and he can give me an explanation, and I'll call you back.
Sure.
What's your number?
757.
This portion was redacted to protect the innocents. Well, that's pretty good. See, we learned something there. You can't get answers from these people about what they're spraying above you. You will notice this lip characteristic in this picture. I will show it to you. You see the lip? Look at the lip. See the lip? Look at the lip. These lips were made for talking, and that is what they'll do. You see the characteristics in the lip? Yeah. Are you looking at the lip? Are you looking at me? All right, let's get into the show. Thanks for coming in, everybody. This has been fun. It's always good to have an enjoyable Truth Tuesday, and I feel like I've almost had almost like a chatgasm, Didn't you feel it just a second ago? It was great. Yeah, it was a chatgasm, I think. Yes. I'm waiting for a response. Hold, please. Roger and out. We will see you guys tonight. Tomorrow, rather. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Elvis Lips. There we go. We caught up. Now you're saying these are crop dusters? I disagree. That is an erroneous claim Meow TV's making about the chemtrails. We'll be playing a little bit. Okay. Signing off, everybody. Good night. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a Wasteful Wednesday. Toodles.